Showtime. We're live, Jimmy.
I like it. I like the background change. I mean, if that's your new renovation, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, so I finally got around to finishing the shed. Here it is. No, this is the family room, which typically the wife works remotely out of. I'm actually sitting at her desk, but she had to go into the office all this week, and it's I don't know.
I love my wife, but I'm not gonna lie, it's nice.
No, because usually if the kids are around, they're at camp. But usually if they're around, they're running through this area where I'm back on the other side of the house, tucked away. So actually I'd rather be back there, but when no one is at the house, this is, it's different. It's good to get a change of scenery.
Nice. How are you today, mate? You all right?
I'm happy it's Friday. Weeks are flying by. We're about 3 weeks away from the old Finney Volume 1 drop. I'm actually leaving to go to Boise, Idaho the day before the drop. But that's actually kind of nice. Unless something blows up. Right, because we're working with facings and they're trying to scale up their tech stack, so they want to do some things so Facebook can become like a commercial NFT campaign launcher. So like
what day of the week is the drop?
I think it's Friday the 13th. So okay. Friday the 13th. You like it?
I like it. Maybe we'll try to schedule you earlier in the week to come on to our show and talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, I am. I guess, yeah, the 13th. I think that. I mean, I know the drop's on the 13th. I assume it's Friday, and we go out of town the 12th, but maybe on Tuesday or something like that. I don't know. I'll be around. You know where to find me.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll give you my apology in advance. This is my third stream today, but like I've been off my game all day. I don't really know what's going on.
You gotta throw a couple back, my man.
Well, I was busy writing for most of the night, and like 3 hours. What I thought was like 15 minutes blended into 3 hours, writing, and so I think that kind of threw me off because usually that doesn't happen. Usually I do my writing earlier in the day and I chill out, but my daughter's been, sick. And so, that was a thing, but just so that you know, I've been off my game all day. I was going to have a good surprise for you today, but it didn't pan out. I was trying to get our good friend Bonds to join us for tonight's stream.
Oh yeah. I thought of Bonds.
Yeah, well, he said he wanted to come, but he's like, I don't know, he's on a yak hiking over the mountains of Ukraine or something, some weird shit.
He's on a yak?
He's not, but I just picture Bonds being on a yak.
Where is he though?
I think he's on a business trip in Europe somewhere. So maybe we can get him on next week and we can talk about it, because I think that would be interesting to talk about his experiences traveling to do crypto stuff. I'm not sure if I'm actually supposed to say that, but what the fuck, whatever, man. So, yeah, I should probably be careful. But he's on a crypto business trip, just doing stuff and.
He said he was. That's right. In between the anti-vax stuff and the whatever, he said something about it. So
what's the anti-vax stuff? He's not an anti-vaxxer, is he?
Yeah. I mean, becoming more and more so. I think there's a little bit of confirmation bias. He falls into the misinformation trap at times.
Fair enough. I'm by no means an anti-vaxxer, but I was a little bit, worried about getting the vaccine, you know, because they were pushing it out so quickly.
As you should
now,
be, as you should be, right? I just, you know, I can understand caution, and I'd be cautious. Like, I wouldn't give it to my kids for another 10 years, you know, because A, my kids aren't at risk, and B, I just am not going to give them something somewhat experimental. But where people lose me is where they think there's like a global conspiracy to like use the vaccine to like implant a chip, mind control, and like kill all the babies. Like that's sort of my line. Like, I don't believe in, you know, these global conspiracies where every single doctor and 99.999% of all scientists, etc., are in on the conspiracy, right? I'm just not there. Sure, there's money involved, and, you know, companies want to make lots of money, but their names are on the line too. So yeah, there's always going to be fuckery like going on. You know, whenever there's shitloads of money, there's always going to be fuckery. But I just don't believe there's some like global conspiracy in that, you know, we're going to take more people are dying from the vaccine than COVID, all that. I just don't buy it, you know.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I get myself into trouble. I got called rude the other day on one of my shows because I basically said, you know, no offense, but like, you're telling me you work at a convenience store, but somehow you're smart enough to like unravel like the conspirators, that like world domination plots. They're like, how rude? Like, I'm sorry, but like, I'm just like, if you work at a convenience store, I'm not saying you're stupid, but if you work at a convenience store and you feel like you're smart enough to unravel plans of world domination, then that's kind of where my
you know what, it's funny because I remember, and I just put out a form, so get that filled out. Do fill out your wax address. Don't worry about your EOS address for now. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah. We thought, like, my dad, as you know, was into tech. He was ahead of his time, but you thought as the internet was coming out that like it enlightened everyone, that everyone with all this access to information would become, you know, but for most people, I think it's had the opposite effect. Navigating the internet is becoming increasingly difficult, and not getting sucked into misinformation, conspiracy, all that stuff. It's good because I think it's great to challenge opinions and ideas. Like, once we stop doing that, we might be fucked. But, you know, more people are probably being like, there's probably a handful of people being enlightened and a lot more people being negatively impacted by the internet and these circle jerks and echo chambers and all that stuff.
Well, and the worst part about it is this isn't the people's fault, to be honest. This is like our education system's fault, right? Like, and imagine, you know, living in a country that doesn't put a focus on, you know, actual deciphering whether information is true or not. Because that's like the country that I live in. And that's one of the reasons I'm thinking about leaving. It's one of the best education systems in the world. If you're looking to, you know, send people into a company and for them to be productive company men, so to speak. And yes, I'm not being sexist, but the majority of people in companies in Japan still are men. For a first world country, it's still very biased against women. It pay and salary, and a lot of times, you know, can't even take maternity leave and have to quit your jobs. It's also one of the few countries in the world where you can still live off of a single family income if you're one of these company men, right? So there's the good points and the bad points of that, but like, it just drives me crazy. I don't want my daughter to grow up in a country whereby she doesn't learn these creative thinking skills, right? Like, it dumbfounds me, the fact that like it's just like you have whole generations of people that don't question anything. So I mean, when you get into a situation like Rona times, it's great because everyone just kind of listens to the rules and they kind of, you know, balance things out, and they don't panic, they don't go nuts, right? But it's just kind of funny to me that, like, I think the perfect balance, to be honest, is the patience and composure of the Japanese mixed with the what used to be the inquisitive spirit and outgoingness of North America. Really.
America.
No, what do you got out there?
America.
Everybody
USA,
just
baby.
More
the USA. I saw someone tweet. Maybe it was Adriana responding to a tweet that had a lot of responses, and the tweet was asking if people think the service is better when there's tipping for the waiters, waitresses, and at least in the places I've traveled. So like in America, those of you who don't live in America, like 20% tip is standard. They probably pay like waitresses, like waiters, half a minimum wage, even less, and they make their money off the tips. I was surprised though, it was a poll, and when I looked at the results, most people said that tipping didn't make a difference in terms of how good a service you got. And I completely disagree with that, because at least the places I've been, other countries I've been, where there isn't tipping, like you walk through the door of the restaurant and you just kind of stand there like looking around for 4 or 5 minutes before someone comes up and seats you, whatever. And they typically don't have a smile on their face. Whereas in America, like the second you walk in a restaurant, you get attention, right? And you get attention the whole time. Sometimes you get too much attention.
Well, now, are we sure that this has to do with tips? Like, I mean, you're a pretty dashing young man there, Sean. So it could could be the other side. Like, I know from experience what it's like to be a dashing young man. I'm not so young anymore, but I'm still pretty goddamn dashing. But like, I actually like Folk Killer has a really good point here. The Japanese don't expect tips; they actually refuse tips most of the time.
Yeah.
And like and the service is the best I've ever experienced. He's 100% right, hands down. But
you think that's an Asian thing, though? You think that's an Asian thing? I've never been to Asia.
I don't think it's an Asian thing. I think it's a Japanese thing. I've spilt a coffee of my own incompetence, and I've had like the waitresses run up to me and say like, "Sumisan, I'm really Sumisan means I'm sorry. Like, I'm really sorry. Like, I didn't, Sumisan, go in the side. Like, I'm really sorry. I'll give you a new, I'll get you a new coffee." And like they clean up the mess, and I'm like, "No, it's okay. It's totally my fault." And they'll give you a free coffee, right? Like the Japanese have this weird business, ethos in a way, right? Like I've forgotten $5 because it's a coin here at the convenience store, and put in my headphones and started walking down the street, get like a minute or two away, and I feel this tap on my shoulder, and I'll turn around, and it's like a little old lady who's like chased me down the street to give me back the change that I forgot, right?
No, I think that's normal though. I mean,
really? I don't know if it's normal in Canada.
You wouldn't
just pocket it, right? Like,
really? Well, yeah. Okay. So one time I was in Berlin, and on Sunday they have this thing at Mauer Park. They have this flea market, and it's massive, this huge park and this flea market, and everyone just sets up shop and brings their, I think now you even have to pay to enter because it became so popular, but they have this one amphitheater like in the corner. And I'll get to that after. There's a basketball court there, and there's a big amphitheater behind it. So, I'm always down to play a little pickup basketball, especially in another country. So, I went out to the court. I emptied my pockets, and I put like a couple bucks, whatever. I put it down by the big concrete pole, that holds a basketball hoop. And one of the guys is like, you don't want to put that there. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, the kids will steal it. And I was like, yeah, please. So I put it there, and bro, I turn around 2 seconds later, gone, right? Like kids on skateboards, just like cruising by, just picking that shit up. So that was kids. But on Mauer Park on Flea Market Sundays, they do what's it called when you go? They do karaoke, right, in this amphitheater, which is like packed with people, like a few hundred people probably, and people from all over the world come down and sing karaoke in front of everyone. I thought that was so cool.
I mean,
Jimmy, you get any of that?
Yeah, I'm listening. I told you, like, everyone keeps accusing me today. I'm listening. I'm here. I'm just kind of off my.
Jimmy, world karaoke. I'm talking about world karaoke.
I'm see, this is the thing. Karaoke doesn't excite me.
It doesn't?
No.
Doesn't really excite me either. But like usually I've seen karaoke. It's in like a dingy bar, like a whatever, on Tuesdays, half off Miller Lights, and you can sing karaoke. That doesn't excite me. But to be at a park in Berlin at this big flea market, and you got like 400, 500 people sitting in an amphitheater, and people are coming down from all over the world to sing karaoke in front of everyone, right? Like, I thought that was cool. That was a cool experience.
I mean, Ordonez has got your back.
I'm not saying I wouldn't see you as a karaoke singing type. Actually, I think it'd be a total train wreck, as it would for me. But I think you would enjoy watching this type of karaoke.
Maybe it might be interesting. Yeah, if the singers are good, like I get dragged into karaoke every once in a while, and usually it ends really badly. Because I just hate reading words on the screen, so I just make up my own songs. And actually, to be honest, some of them are pretty good, but I've got to be like way, way, way more loaded than I normally am, which is like really loaded, to make that work. And it doesn't always come across the best. But yeah, I think it's right. I think it's just.
Hey, how many likes are on the stream, or how many upvotes do we have right now?
I don't see that.
How many upvotes do we have? Someone out there.
And everyone out there, go check. And if you haven't hit that like button, hit it.
Well, I saw Adam Carswell do something smart. He's like, yeah, we'll give out a Finney coin when we hit. There's 15 likes. When we hit 26 likes, we will give out the first Finney coin.
That's only like half of the people out there that are liking us, Sean. How do you feel about that? Fuck?
Oh, you know what? I forgot, but I actually have. See, I should have fired this off at the beginning of the stream. That's what you got to do every so often. Give them a little reminder.
While you do that, I'll talk about Friday the 13th. So on Friday the 13th, we won't be doing a stream because you'll be on vacation. I'll be on vacation. We might take the week off, or we might just like chill for 15 minutes, some random point in time outside in nature, and have a quick call. But yeah, just so that you guys are aware, we might just take our livelihoods to the edge of obscurity and leave you guys in the dust for that week. We do apologize, but YouTube streamers need vacations too. Yeah,
not you. Jimmy's streaming Jimmy over there. He's the stream is like your vacation.
Right. I'm gonna be in Okinawa for a little over a month. Do you know about Okinawa?
Yeah, you've told me like the last 3 streams we've been on about Okinawa.
Oh, sorry. See, this is.
It's okay. You can tell everyone for the third.
No, time. I mean basically Okinawa is just the Hawaii of Japan, so I'm going to be there.
How's so you go in the water?
I will go in the water. I used to be a lifeguard. That was my like.
You were a lifeguard?
Yeah, that was my second real job, actually.
You ever give mouth to mouth?
I mean, not because somebody was drowning.
Okay.
So,
Exactly.
right.
29. Okay, we're over the mark.
Yeah, I was.
They did it.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, I was a lifeguard when I was 16, and then I was a swimming instructor here in Japan for the summer program that we used to do. So that was kind of fun. My second job was to save the children. My first job was as a butcher, so I used to kill the animals.
I'm closing the form, by the way. 3, 2, 1, closed.
Are we doing the duck race? We're no longer wheel people, right?
Yeah, we've definitely evolved beyond the wheel. I mean, the wheel. I always thought the wheel was kind of dumb.
It's like not that it wasn't like the greatest invention of mankind, but when you put it on a little spinny thing to give away a Finney coin, I mean that was pretty good. But when you got duck races,
how long do we want to do this race?
We should just like make them wait it out for like an hour and a half.
No, yeah. Now, yeah. We're checking the form every 10 minutes, and if you're not on the if you're not out there, we're gonna remove you from the form. You must watch the full 3 hours.
It's a marathon. I mean, when we do the Cryptowriter 34-hour marathon, we should just set up a duck race in the background that's like 34 hours. And the person who wins that's still on the stream till 34 hours later.
Let me put these names in here. Ooh, what happened?
Hey, you can just copy and paste them, right?
Yeah, but a bunch of them are disappearing. Interesting.
I mean, when that happens to me, I get thrown under the bus. But when it happens to you, apparently it's okay.
I got to refresh the page.
I mean, yeah, I don't.
Oh, so I was trying to do a robot race, which looked kind of cool instead of the duck race, but it only allows 6 people.
What?
Which seems pretty dumb.
That's really dumb. I've seen a robot race. I think last week we did one.
Okay, here's one up to 100 characters. We're gonna do a sprint. Enter up to 6 names.
Well, next week's gonna be an interesting week. Then I guess you guys got the. Oh no, sorry, that's 2 weeks from now. Well, you figure that out. I'm excited about Monday. On Monday, we're gonna have Here's the Thing with Jimmy D, Adam Carswell interview.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty exciting. Adam's one of my favorite people in the space. I'm also putting together an idea for a roundtable, which is going to be really weird. But one of the things that we talked about on the last roundtable was, when women get offended if we have, women in blockchain. When artists get offended when we want to have like women in blockchain art, which I'm not a woman or really an artist, so I'm okay with that. I mean, I get where they're kind of coming from, but what I am is I'm a Canadian, and I kind of want to do a roundtable on Canadians
with Canadians.
Crypto.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
like because that's a really good one. It's like
there's a lot of fucking Canadians in the EOSIO space. I run into a lot of Canadians,
right? And some really good people like Terry Crews, for example. Like he's
all of EOS, all EOS Nation is Canadian.
We might even be able to bring Bonds on as like an honorary Canadian because he kind of he comes. No, he's not, but he kind of comes across to me as more of a Canadian than American sometimes. I mean, sometimes maybe one, right? So it's like,
oh god, Bonds. We need to get him on. We need to get him on one of these times.
We should bring him on the roundtable and make him dress up as a Canadian, because like we know he likes to dress up, so it'd be good. Like we could just sit there with Terry and a few of the other people that I'm gonna put together. I think it's gonna be a fun roundtable though.
What are you guys gonna talk about?
I don't know why so many Canadians are involved in crypto, and why we're so fucking good at it too. 'Cause we are.
Who's the peak Canadian for crypto? Is there any commercial? There's got to be some commercial Canadians in the crypto space.
I don't know. Did you see? Yeah, I don't know.
Someone in the audience will know who's like the biggest Canadian influencer.
I don't know. Hey, but did you see that there was a recent Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis video that they did?
You lost me at Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis.
No, it was pretty good. So like they basically somehow asked a bunch of questions that Mila tried to answer and she couldn't. And then the final question was like, "What's Ethereum?" And the camera turned and it was Jesus, that's a big spread. And Ashton Kutcher, sorry, and
that's a good looking duck up front there, Superman duck.
Right. Right.
2
Vitalik Buterin was actually sitting in their kitchen and then gave this really long, bald answer about Ethereum, which was quite interesting. So yeah.
You know what's funny? Morton Matt D1. He's not very happy with me.
Why? What did you do? It takes a lot to piss that guy off. I mean, I've been trying for months.
Supposedly, on one of the first shows I was on with you, I said I was going to give a membership card out to whoever put in their wax address, and there were maybe like 16 people. And for whatever reason, I didn't do it, or he didn't get it, or he just gave me a wrong address and I tried to send it and then forgot about it. I don't know. This is months ago. And now it's bubbling over. Like he's held this grudge against me, and I feel it's finally coming through. And we'll get him a membership card. I mean, he tunes into everything, but no need to get like touchy about it, No need to get sensitive.
I mean, that's fair. I think on all accounts, that's fair. If you're going to make it go away and you're going to air your feelings towards how he's treating you, then I'm okay with it. 100%.
Yeah, people, if they're holding on to something, they need to get it out. Like, don't hold on to it, Just like if you're feeling a certain way, I owed you something. He probably messaged me like 3 times. I probably was like, yeah, I'll put it out, or I'll tell Kenny. That's the problem. So Kenny controls the NFT account, and Kenny's in Australia. And so like typically what happens, Kenny wakes up in the morning. I'm like, we forgot to send a NFT to this person, a membership. And he's like, I'll take care of it. And then by the time he gets into the office, he's forgotten. And then I've forgotten. And then like a week later, someone will say, and I'll do the same thing. And it takes about 3 tries, and finally Kenny will push it out. But
I like the fact that you're commendable enough that you're gonna give him the job.
Yeah.
Morton, I'll be honest with you.
Look, Morton, we'll give you
90% of the people in the space wouldn't be this stand up, and probably if you said that at the Uplift, Corey and I would be like, yeah, fuck it. We're not gonna do it. Like, honestly, that's the kind of people we are. So I would say when you get that membership in your card, you should say thank you.
Right.
And I love you, Morton. And it sucks that you missed out on the drops, but like honestly, like 90% of the projects would
hold on, coming down home stretch. Trump dunk. Trump duck. Has the Trump duck ever won?
I don't know, but my favorite comment in the whole thing was like, Ordonez, I'm first. I'm not gonna win this one. You said that like a minute ago. So
I love Burst's commentary when he does a duck race on the Trump duck. All right, let's stop the quacking.
Really? We're finished already? That was a quick stream.
Someone check this and make sure it's not some bot. IWKBK, are you here? Ikbik.wham, are you here? Say that. Say the name. Jimmy, say the name of the winner.
Dude, I can't read it. I can't read that screen.
Ikbik. Oh, you can't read that?
No, you got to zoom in on it, maybe.
Okay, yeah, we'll skip that.
I can't. I totally can't see it. So.
Ikbik. Oh, that's Dreamer. Dreamer's here. He's so dreamy.
Yeah.
Do you know Dreamer? Does he ever watch your things?
I don't. Some of these guys are starting to cross over, and I'm starting to like it. But yeah, I don't.
They're not. They haven't all crossed over.
Well, oh, sorry, not Dreamer. Some of them have. Some of them are starting to. Like some of them. Well, I mean, we do 5 shows a week, so it's like.
We got to burn a Finney now, and see what we got. Ooh.
Oh, so I wanna ask you what's up with the.
I won this. Byron Rempel. That's Nathan's brother, right?
I don't know.
Is Byron Nathan's brother?
I have no idea.
Same last name. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure this is Nathan's brother.
Because all Smiths are related.
And he does some art, some NFT stuff. And I saw a tweet because I follow him, and someone had put up his artwork in the Uplift. And they said first 20 people to take a screenshot, like go to the place where the artwork is, take a screenshot, and we'll send you some art. So I'm like, fuck it. I had Minecraft open. I wasn't really using it, but I had it open. So I'm like, I'll go out there. And it happened to be like 5 minutes away. And I went all the way out there, but it was cool. They had the gallery set up. And I took my pleb, my avatar in Minecraft. I haven't figured out how to change up the avatar. So my avatar's little, what's his name? Peter Pan or whatever.
Yeah, it looks kind of like the Zelda character. It's funny.
Yeah, the Zelda character. So I went out there and they sent me this lovely promotional piece of artwork.
Yeah, I saw that on your Twitter account today. I was impressed that you actually went through the process. I like it. That's cool. Yeah.
I like it too, but I would like it more if it didn't have thank you for visiting the Rocket Gallery. You know, like sometimes I've seen them push out NFTs and they write promo on the NFT and it kind of kills the NFT. Right? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Put it on the back of the card or put a QR code. And, yeah, put it on back of the card to say, hey, visit our plot on the Uplift, put a QR code or something and do it that way. Like, or just put the coordinates on the back of the card and say thanks, but no reason to put it right on the front.
Yeah, I was writing a little bit about that, the art installs on that collection today, and they're really good, actually. So I'm kind of excited to see what the rest of the collection is. I don't know if the rest of the collection has, maybe they did that for a reason. Maybe because it was free, they were giving it away. Maybe they just decided that it didn't hold the same value as someone who might have bought it. I don't know. I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what Finney they got. What do you think it's going to be? A pleb or something better?
I'm going to go with a titanium.
Titanium. Oh, it's a gold.
God damn it. I was going to say gold, but then I said titanium instead because I was like...
It's a pleb gold. Short hair. It has stubble.
It's like me.
This is kind of like Jimmy.
I would never wear that zip up hoodie though. It's just not my thing.
What are you wearing? Any accessories today?
I always wear that like Australian necklace thing.
Show it to the people watching the stream.
Yeah, well, it's really you can't really see it. It's just a ring, you know.
And what does it signify? Is that from your first love?
No,
that one that got away.
I used to wear my wedding ring around my neck.
You said so that, and your current wife put an end to that.
Yeah, she didn't
Jimmy,
like that,
look, okay, so when I met my wife, well, I met her before, but when we started dating, like she very quickly got me to tie off all my loose ends because I had about 6 loose ends that needed tying off. You know, like these girls would call me, like one of them was like my first true love, right? So that was always kind of lingering there. You know, I still had feelings for whatever. Now I don't, you know, I got over it after a few years. But I remember having to tie that off and having to tie off like whatever I had going on, like my fling. I had a couple flings going on from like the clubs, South Beach. Had to tie off those. Had a long distance relationship that needed tying off. And so early on in my relationship, when things were a little more volatile, I guess you could say. Why were they volatile? Because you're partying more, you're drinking more, like there's sleep deprivation, there's like, you know, less certainty in your life. So a lot of that's going on. And I had all these loose ends to tie off. And I remember on a couple occasions, one occasion being in Key West, okay, and getting hammered in Key West. And very few times I'm typically super under control. Like with my alcohol intake, I don't like feeling like shit, you know? So I'm not one of those people that has a few shots and my eyes glaze over and I'm just like drinking till I puke. Definitely not like that. But I was wasted this day because we were in Key West. We were drinking all day. And I remember at one point I lifted up the bar at Irish Kevin's, like I lifted up the thing and went behind the bar and was going to puke back there. But my buddy Zach rescued me and he pulled me into the bathroom and I puked there. And I guess after I puked, I thought it'd be a good idea to call one of my exes. So I called my exes. I don't remember this. And then I remember a taxi taking me back to the place we were staying. I remember going up the stairs and going to bed. And then I remember waking up to my wife. She like had me by my shirt like this and she's smacking me across the face. And I was like, you know, what'd I do? You know, I didn't know. I'm like, what? Why am I being smacked across my face? This was by my girlfriend at the time. And she's like so pissed at me. Okay. Like so pissed. And it was because she had gone through my phone and, you know, I was calling my ex-girlfriend. And she had every right to be pissed, I guess, but you gotta give, like, whenever you get in a new relationship, right, you're always coming from something, typically, unless you're like, you know, you're the 40-year-old virgin and you're getting in your first relationship, but typically you're coming from another relationship. And you got to give people time to like tie off those loose ends and figure shit out. You shouldn't get violent towards them if they're calling their ex-girlfriend when they're in Key West, like, and we're just puking 5 minutes earlier, you know? Anyways. Yeah.
I mean, that story makes me smile. That's not a world that I lived in, actually. I was like, no, like I had I had women that I was dating, walk away from me because I refused to cut ties. I don't like being told what to do, really at all. And it was like, yeah, if I'm honest about it, like one of the reasons that I, ended up getting divorced was because I refused to cut ties with somebody. And like, that was
wow.
that was crazy, right? Like, it was like, I don't even talk to that person anymore.
You just don't believe in monogamy?
No,
Jimmy, swinging Jimmy.
Yeah, so
swinging Jimmy.
Like in a way, like no, like I'm kind of getting old, so it's kind of working out my favor now.
Yeah, low T. They call that low T. Jimmy,
right?
you got to start. You got to start lifting heavy. That's the only way you get around the low T thing. In your age,
I think I might have to like actually move to Florida for a time being and just come and work out with you on a daily basis. Because I saw you get up and I saw you get up and go close the blinds the other day, and I was like, holy shit, I should be in shape like that guy.
Today I went to the gym. I kind of did a bullshit workout because I have this reoccurring like collarbone injury, and it reoccurred after a year. So I'm like, like when you get older, you don't bounce back as quickly. And then I mowed the backyard this morning, all before I came here. Oh, and I'm wearing the Too Legit tee. We'll get you one.
I totally want one, actually. I haven't told my team this yet, so I'm gonna out them here. You guys have all seen the Lgnd, the Lgnd.Art logo. It's like a big L.
Yeah. I like that logo.
It's a good logo. And so they sent me a t-shirt. So I got the t-shirt and I pulled it out and I put it on. And the missus looked at it and she laughed. And I'm like, what's so funny? She's like, what's that t-shirt? I'm like, this is a company that I work for, the art company. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what's wrong with it? She's like, it's almost the same symbol as like what the sticker that the new drivers have to put on the back of their car in Japan.
Oh no!
And I didn't like really notice it. It's actually backwards. It's like
so basically
mirror image of it, right?
Basically in Japan, when people see you in that shirt, they're like, what a noob! It's a noob shirt.
They're gonna
what
think
a pleb. What a new driver. This guy can't even drive. He's 40 years old, doesn't even know how to drive. Right? Where was his father?
They're going to think I'm a new human, right? They're going to be like, what the fuck? That's a funny story, though, actually, because so one of the best fitting T-shirts I ever had came from my company job. And there was this kanji symbol on the back, this Chinese writing on the back. And it was like, it said Tengoku. And it's 2-part symbol.
Tengoku.
Yeah, and Tengoku kind of means like like heaven in a way. And I'm not religious, but it said heaven, and I kind of do believe that there's a higher power. And every time I would go out, like nobody would say anything. But then my missus, my cousin, missus.
Sorry, keep going. I need to open the form.
No, she said, you realize that like that doesn't mean anything, right? And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I'm like, it says Tengoku. She's like, yeah, but Tengoku is not a word in Japanese. I'm like, but like these 2 kanji, like they mean something. She's like, no, it doesn't. Like nobody understands what that means because we don't use that word. We don't have that, like that our concept of heaven is a completely different character, right? And it's kind of cracks me up. And I think like it happens in the States too, right? Like I see these people, especially in California, not so much in Florida. For whatever reason, it's always the Californians. And I love California, don't get me wrong. But they get these tattoos on themselves and they go on YouTube and they're just like, I got this cool Japanese tattoo. Like it's this character. And it, like without fail, 8 out of 10 times I ask my wife, hey, this tattoo is really cool. Like this is the character for like Wild Spirit. And my wife's like, no, it's like the character for Cupcakes or something fucking stupid. So you got this like big buff guy in California walking around. He's like, yeah, I'm a wild stallion. But it's like the character is like, Pink Misty Morning or some weird thing. What's that? What's going on there?
You were raising your hand like a good lad on the roundtable stream, and someone snapped a picture and was sharing it in our chat.
I think
you gotta put like cucumbers on your eyes after all this streaming. When you go to Okinawa, are you gonna Okinawa or Okinawa? Okinawa. Where are you going?
Oh my God, Okinawa would be such a good thing in a movie.
Okinawa.
Yeah, I'm going to Okinawa.
Okinawa. Okay. Well, when you get there and you're sitting in a beach chair, get some nice cold cucumbers and put them on your eyes.
Hey, you know what? You know what I'm most excited about Okinawa for is like, so here's the thing.
Oh!
I used to be like really fit actually a few years ago, and I used to smoke a lot. Like I probably smoked.
Like how much?
I used to roll my own, and I used to use American Spirit and roll my own, and I'd probably go through a package of that in like a week and a half, which is a lot. And then I switched to one of those like electronic kind of cigarette things because I like the feeling, and the whole reason I switched was because I wanted to quit. But those electronic vaporizer things, I was probably smoking 3 to 4 packs of those a day. And then when I had my daughter, I decided I need to quit. And so I mean, the thing by Dr. Poon is some that I would go to that bar or
Poon Dr. Pooner.
The thing by Dr.
What is Poon?
By Dr. Poon.
What is Poon?
Right?
What is Poon? Is it like a coon?
I think that's the only thing that
Poon coon. Are you the Poon coon, Jimmy?
I am not, but anyway, let me finish.
Were you ever the Poon? Was there ever a point in your life where you considered yourself the Poon or the coon?
I mean, I probably wasn't as big of a player.
The Poon coon. The Poon coon.
These people would have you believe. But anyway, back to my story. So this is what happened to me. Like I started gaining a lot of weight. Then I started getting into this crypto thing. I started staying up late with people like you and doing these streams. People like Corey and doing these streams, which I love about myself. But like now, I've got like the second largest tummy in my house. Really, because my daughter, she's kind of got a bit of a pot belly, which is really hilarious to me. It's super cute, but like, you know, she's 1.5, so I think that's allowed. But I'm most excited about Okinawa because I get to go there. I think I'm either going to buy or rent a stand-up paddleboard, and I'm just going to do that every morning because that's what I did when I'm in Hawaii. I mean, 5 out of 7 mornings, I would walk 2 blocks with no shoes, no shirt, carrying my paddleboard, drop it in the water, you know, paddle out, you know, for an hour and a half, take a bit of a swim, come back. I smoked like a chimney there as well because I was working, but I would do that like every day, and I've never felt in better shape in my life. And now I'm at the point where like I'm, you know, not doing these unhealthy things. I guess this is semi-unhealthy, but you know, right? Really. And so that's the other thing that's kind of got me nostalgic about North America. It's like I've been thinking recently, where do I want to go? And I think I'm at the point in my life right now where my daughter is not quite 5 years old yet, and I'm putting together a list of places that like I could live and maybe make ends meet with the work that I do online, which is a really interesting place to be, right? And it's like where would I go? Well, I mean, Perth, Australia, to me, we talked about this yesterday, actually. Like that seems like it would be an amazing place to be. I mean, Florida seems like it's pretty cool. Austin, Texas seems like it's pretty cool. Like Victoria in Canada seems like it's pretty cool. Uruguay seems like it's pretty cool. Portugal seems like it's pretty cool, right? And I'm starting to get to that point where, you know, people my age, they buy, you know, convertibles and keep getting fatter and drive around, and like that's their kind of second life. for me, it's going to be like, okay, I need to like go somewhere that I can like escape onto the water and paddle my ass off every day for like.
Well, I mean, we are definitely products of our environment, and I'm lucky enough to be surrounded by a bunch of friends who are all like, or they were at one time, athletes, or they're just active people. So like when you're around the guys, like I have my buddy Coco, he's 50 years old. Okay. And he's like, he's ripped, he works out every day. He runs a ton. And for a 50-year-old, he's like pretty ripped. But whenever we see him and we're having like a pool barbecue, whatever, and he takes off his shirt, we're like, yeah, Coco, you're, looks like you're getting a little dad bod, give him a little pinch on the love handles. And even though he's 50 and he's ripped, we keep everyone honest that way. Like, because it's not good to be overweight. Like, let's not kid ourselves. It's not. As soon as you're on a calorie surplus, your risk for, I don't know how many diseases goes up like tenfold. The best thing you can do for your health is like not eat that much. One of the best things.
I think the best thing that I can do for my health is not drink so much, to be honest.
Yeah, well, calories are calories. But if you wherever you decide to move, and these all sound like pretty, I don't know about Austin, but Perth seems like a very active place, right? Florida, at least South Florida, there's pressure on you to like look good, and people are active. If you move out, see like the Northeast, I think I'd be fat if I lived in the Northeast. Because when it's cold and you just don't want to load you just want to sit there and eat. So don't move to the Northeast. Go someplace where there's sunshine year round.
I do this weird, this is a telling sign, right? I do this weird thing where like, even though I'm an old man, but
you're not an old man. You're not even close, dude. You just don't get enough sleep.
Yeah, fair enough. And this is part of the reason why, going stateside would be good. And so anyway, I do this weird thing where I who you were never dies out. So I have these, like, if anyone ever saw my search history on my phone, I think so let's put it this way. If I ever get that email that says like, oh, we have a video of you, watching porn, through your K-tie that we've tapped, and we're going to release it unless you send us one BTC, I'd be like, fuck it, release it then. Like, I don't fucking care. I mean, yeah. I'm totally open about what I'm doing.
No one wants to watch that shit,
Like, no, right? But like,
I mean, honestly, there might be someone who wants to watch that shit.
Right, there might be.
They're like twice as kinky as you. They're like swinging Jimmy squared. We need to make a swinging Jimmy. I think that would be awesome. A swinging Jimmy Finney.
That
super like used car salesman. Like, he's got a little twinkle in his eye. Slightly disheveled, looks a little alcoholic. I'm
so not alcoholic.
No, we'll give him a big like lump in his pants. Just a big lump, like kind of tacked onto the side of his leg there, and we'll call it swinging Jimmy Finney.
So let me get back to where this was headed, because this is kind of like it's playing off of where you came from, right? So I have this weird like search history in my phone, and when I'm for whatever reason, whenever I'm thinking about places to live, I've been thinking about like this place for like a day, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I move here. When if I can get a visa, a tourist visa, whatever? Fuck it, I'm gonna like, our girls in Perth hot. Right, like that. I type that shit in, right? Like, our Florida girl's hot. And so what's funny about like your comment is like, I don't know, like, I'm probably gonna lose all my followers. I'm probably my job for that comment, because we're supposed to be like, good people. But I'm honestly like in tune with my masculinity urges. So when I searched that, it was funny because like Florida came up as quite highly rated. Texas came up surprisingly in the States is really highly rated, but it was like the worst city for relationships and sex was like essentially like as far as you could go in the Northeast, like way out there in like Vermont, and it was like,
man,
like it was like not like basically like don't go to a cold place if you're young and you're in crypto and you want to emulate swinging Jimmy back in his high days or Sean the Stud Ballent back in his high days. Don't go to the Northeast. Sean's right on that.
I just have to say only 20 responses on the form and there's 32 of you. I reset it. I'm resetting the form today every time. So let me share the link one more time. And then in a few minutes, we'll do another Finney burn. Did you give away whatever you said you were giving away last week, or did you, nope.
I gave a shit ton away. What are you talking about?
You promised something after the stream, and it's okay if you didn't. Just make sure it's not Morton, or he'll berate you for the next 3 months until you do it.
Hey man, so I kind of want to come back to that. Has he been berating you for the last 3 months?
No.
Because it kind of seems to me like he was sitting on it for the last 3 months, and then it was like driving him insane because he was getting pissed off, and then he brought it up.
Well,
and now you're gonna deal with it, but now like he feels bad that he didn't bring it up like 3 months ago.
No,
right?
That's kind of what happened. Is we started doing more drops to the membership cards like recently, and I think maybe there's one he saw and he's like, man, I wish I had that. We might be able to, and I'm definitely not promising this, but we might be, whenever we mint for the membership drops, we mint to all the memberships. So there's like 250 membership cards, but there's only like 220 something. So usually with the other membership cards, I think we have some of the drops that we could retroactively, like when we give them the membership card, we might be able to give them some of, or at least the last like drop. But I don't know if we're going to do that, or we'll just give them the membership card.
Again, Martin, I said this before, you were going to get anything. Like, giant thank you, because this is one of the reasons I really respect you and Kenny in this space. You guys are more than fair 9 times out of 10. I mean,
well, we're just setting up the rug pull.
Right? Yeah.
This is just how you set up the perfect rug
exit scam all the way, right? It's like
we're playing the long rug pull game here. We're really gonna build it up until Cryptowriter is massive. Then no point in doing a rug pull now. Like maybe if we did the rug pull now, I could afford an Airbnb, in a neighborhood a couple blocks over. But man.
Oh man, we okay. I want to do this on our
Let me get a beer. Let me get a beer.
Yeah, so what should we
I'll just talk to the audience.
I'm going to leave.
Sing them a song.
We'll be back in 3 minutes.
All right, folks, I need your help deciding what beer I'm going to crack today. Okay. This is my wife. This is my wife's like daily beer. It's called Florida Cracker, Cigar City Brewing, just brewery in Florida, Tampa, Florida, and Cigar City has a beer called Highlight, which is one of my favorite IPAs. Another Cigar City beer, a new one It's called Frost Proof. It's a Belgian style white. This is a Belgian style white ale. Basically, they're pretty similar. And then we have this Sierra Nevada Summer Break Hazy IPA. So, Florida Cracker,
I think everyone
Frost
laughed.
Proof, or Summer Break. Which one is it going to be?
Okay, so I have two ways. I have 2 ways to judge this, but I'm gonna go with the one on. I'm gonna go with the one. Sorry, the one on this side with the wave.
The wave, the Summer
Maybe
Break.
The Summer Break. Yeah,
it's definitely the. I mean, they're all pretty. Go Highlight. Highlight is one of my favorite beers, and they don't. Someone says orange one, someone says hazy IPA. Okay, this isn't. No one. We cannot reach consensus. We might need to have an Eden election to figure this one out. I think that I will start with the.
I've got a couple serious things to talk about.
With what Jimmy
actually.
says.
Yeah,
we're gonna go with what you say.
Well,
Jimmy.
Here's the thing. You should always listen to Jimmy D.
Wait, what'd you just say?
I said, here's the thing. You should always listen to Jimmy D.
Yeah.
You missed it. You need to participate in this next time, the Eden election.
No, I don't want to talk about Eden today.
I don't want to talk about it either, but we need people that can participate in it so that they can share my frustration. Second thing is, I mean, is that from Ken? Was that from Ken Bozak's channel?
No, it wasn't.
I heard Ken Bozak's been dropping these really random, weird.
When Bonds,
I haven't actually seen them.
When we finally get Bonds on one of these streams and he first pops in, right when he pops in, we're gonna pop this one up. It's a doofy reporting for duty.
I'm super excited to get Bonds on.
Doofy. Yeah.
Bonds is like one of the nicest.
You think he's gonna
confrontational people?
Oh, he is the nicest. You think he's gonna get butt hurt at some point? Depends how far I push it.
You gotta be a little bit nice. He's gonna get more butt hurt than me. Yeah, he's totally gonna get more. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. Is that dry ice?
I don't know.
Is Bonds' face on that?
No, I should put it on it. Ooh. You're right. That's what we are going to do. Reese is sleeping, but Reese, is there a way we can get Bonds' face on there? Like right there, when he looks up.
I feel like I just made this so much worse.
Oh, we're going to do it. Someone's going to see. This is the thing about being able to leverage a community. Like I could never figure out. I mean, I could. It would take me like 3 days to get it. But when you have a community, you can just say, "Hey, someone put Bonds' face on this," and someone will do it. And maybe there's a little, reward behind it. Just putting that out there. Take it or leave it. I'm gonna close this form, and we're gonna have another duck race. So closing in 3, 2, 1. You know who's first on the you would never guess who's first on the form.
Morton.
No. Dr. Poon. Dr. Pooner. The Poon Coon. Let me share my screen and we'll get this show on the road. Now there's 34 watching the stream. There was 37 a second ago, and there's 37 responses. So if one of those 3 wins, they might not get the Finney, and it could be a rhodium. I have a feeling I'm going to pull something good.
I was gonna say rhodium before, and I mean, I've been getting weird DMs from your community. If you ever want to sell that rhodium, but I'm not gonna sell it. I mean, I'm not gonna sell that rhodium.
Oh, you have a rhodium?
I do. I have one.
Ooh, Sanyika, the Finney whale might be in need of that rhodium.
He might have DM'd me. I'm sorry, man. I'm just not in.
You know, I think it's and I'm biased. I always preface it by saying I'm biased, but I think holding on to Finney 1.0s is a good play, and I think not just like the way I see it when we launch Finney Volume 1, that's going to bring in some new community. And then we're going to launch Crypto Finney 2.0. And we think that has the potential to be bigger than just the wax space, like attract attention outside. We think it's going to be that cool and it's going to catch on. And when that happens, like right now, our Telegram group, I don't know how many active community members we have, but our Telegram group's sitting at like 1,800 something. But let's say that like doubles or triples. I know you guys are at like 5,000 something. So there's definitely a higher ceiling that can be reached. And when we reach that ceiling or after the next two drops and there's like 3 times as many people, the community's grown threefold, then there's going to be demand to get in on those retro Finney 1.0s. And that rhodium Finney that you're holding, right? Which is, I don't know what they're going for on the market now, but I'm sure pretty good money. You know, there's no reason why that won't triple in value. And we've seen it happen to other generative projects on ETH. We haven't, I mean, I'm sure some NFTs on Wax have, you know, skyrocketed for whatever reason, but I don't know if there's any other real generative NFT projects on Wax besides us. I know Bro Punks, there's another one, but I think we're one of the first. So I think if ever there's a generative, well, I hope if ever there's a generative NFT project that like moons, I hope it's Finney.
I think you guys will do all right, to be honest. So I was actually going to shout out you because I had fun, you know, editing the article that you wrote.
Yeah. You're what a guy.
We just don't, I just don't have time to tackle all of the things. So this was kind of the idea that we came up with, and we want to get people to build.
Who else though? Who's next on the blog list? Has anyone taken the time to answer the question?
So next on the blog list actually is going to be Jen from Jen's Awesome Show on our channel, and she's the one who does the 2D picture install. So I'm working on that. I spent like 2.5 hours on that article today because she's quite modest, and I wanted to fill out some other things on it. I've been in contact with a few Finney people as well that I want to get on there. Rice is one of them. He's got some awesome builds, so I want to showcase.
It's Reese. Rice.
I'm an Asian man.
That's so Japanese. Yeah.
So press the go live button. We got 3 minutes.
Gingers are a bit sticky.
Right.
Gingers named Rice are a bit sticky.
Yeah, so we're gonna get. I'm hoping to get Reese on there as well because he's got some awesome builds.
Oh, I love that. I just love that strawberry duck. So cute.
I kind of want to do this from the shed again so that I can tilt the camera.
I'm in my shed, dude.
I can tilt the camera up like this, and then
Quan shows up always right around the games.
We can get my daughter to come on, and she can say, because my daughter she can kind of speak. She's 1.5. She's pretty good. She knows animals, like animal sounds, but for whatever reason, whenever she sees a duck, she says duck. Because she thinks that
what is that duck? What is that duck on top there? That brown duck. Who's that supposed to be? In the brown suit?
That I don't know, a founding father.
Oh, what's that?
I like
vampire duck. It's actually cool. They have all these ducks.
Right. I kind of want I kind of want one of the plain ducks to win. There's number 5, number 24, number 30. I think if a plain duck wins, that'll be fun.
Quan sleeping in today. Sleeping in.
As long as the fucking pink duck doesn't win.
We'll get you on the next one, Quan. A Spider-Man duck.
So you're gonna give away a Finney for top place, right?
Yeah, that's what we do. We give away.
I'll chip in a clear membership for second place on this round.
Ew, a clear membership.
We did our.
How many Yoshi coins burned to get the clear?
15, I believe.
Wow, that's big.
I could be wrong on that though. I get confused. We changed the dynamics. So you can actually no longer upgrade to clear memberships or any other membership level.
Rug pull.
It's not a rug pull. Actually, it works out well because one of the things that happened was we realized that dropping one asset to every single dropping one asset to every single person that had a clear membership is way better policy than dropping every clear membership and asset. It protects the value. Is that 20? Oh, it's 32. 32 is pretty good. It's almost as good as 24.
Wait, what were you saying about what'd you learn?
So we learned that like maybe dropping one account and a membership as opposed to every single membership. Sorry, one account, a special drop as opposed to dropping every single membership a drop actually provides a better level of scarcity so that all of those people who have the memberships can like in your case, I don't know what happened. Like, so what happens if I have two? It's completely
membership cards. If you have two membership cards, you get a drop to each one. But again, there's only 250 membership cards and they cost like
so they're already scarce, right? They're already
when we did the Horrors collab, and we each Horrors did a ultra rare, did an original piece of artwork, Killer Finney, we did War Finney, we dropped our collectors, but just the accounts. We didn't tell them ahead of time, but it wasn't like if someone had had leveled up our Finneys and held their, 4 Horsemen, whatever collection, we just dropped to the account. We didn't drop each thing twice.
Right. Yeah, and so
but they can just distribute amongst accounts if they know that's what you're doing, And
that's totally okay, right? If you want,
you can't really stop it.
No, and we're not intending to, right? Like I'm distributing amongst my accounts, but I have I don't know, 30 clear memberships or something like that I've accumulated. I don't have 30 wax accounts, so I'm not going to set up 30 wax accounts for that, right?
I just got something here. I don't know where that came from.
Is that an EOS spinning 3D thing? That's cool.
It is.
And it's on wax? That's even cooler.
And it's on wax. Hey.
Phantom Puppeteer sent it.
Thank you. Thank you, Phantom. I should give away one of Burst Tommy King's things too. Let's burn it. and let's see what we get.
I'm
Hopefully,
not gonna do it tonight, but we'll have to do an episode maybe end of the summer where I actually haven't burnt anything on EOS.
Yeah, burn them all. Burn the rare ones. Burn the one.
I haven't burned any coins on EOS. I have a whole stack of Finney coins that I haven't burned on EOS.
Dude, I'm telling you, you might just want to hold some of those coins.
Well, I burned most of them on wax. I think I've only got one of them left.
Iridium. Well, this guy, it's annoying sometimes how the dark skin, black eyes, white t-shirt, black shorts, common shoes, blue cap, small mustache, gray jacket, orange watch.
Small mustache, you say? What kind of shit pull is that?
Come on,
learn how to grow a beard.
He's a bit of a pleb, but you know, what are these things going for? Okay, $54. That's not a bad NFT, right? Anytime you win an NFT worth about $54 by doing a duck race. I mean, I know you have to go through the process of listening to Jimmy and I for 2 hours, but that's a good win, right? In some parts of the world, that is a week's worth of food. Easily, yeah. That could be a month's rent in some places of the world, correct?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, what do you think the average rent is in the world?
I actually researched this one time and I can't remember what I came up with, but I was
seems
blown
like
away
something
by it.
It seems like something you would research. What's that?
Yeah, it was something ridiculous. Like, I mean, if you think about like our average meals are like if we go out to a restaurant or if we go shopping, like, right, probably in the West, we spend what per person, probably spend, if we cook at home, probably spend $20 to $30 per meal per person. Does that sound about right?
What do you do? What were you saying? Sorry.
If we cook at home, we probably spend like $20 per person per meal.
I mean, I'd say
maybe a little bit less.
Hard for me. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it depends what you're eating, right? Like, if you're
like I'm talking about like a decent.
If you're eating ground beef, like if you're making tacos, it's going to be less than $20 a person. Right.
Okay. All right. Let's say $10 a person. Let's say $10 a person per meal in the US. So $30 a day. I mean, there's countries out there where you can eat for $4 to $5 for a month, right?
Yeah.
So like if you average that out, probably in major cities in the West, your rent prices are going to be anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 maybe. In the countryside, maybe you're going to be paying $1,000 to $1,500. So like put that into perspective. I mean, average rent prices are maybe what, like, I don't know, $30-$40 in some countries per month. And that's a lot. Like that's for a nice place. Like I'm just spitballing shit here, but yeah.
The cost of eating out is definitely going up because, like I've noticed around here, cheeseburger used to be $7, it used to be less, and now it's like $16. Like if you go to any restaurant, I mean, I don't eat fast food, but if you go to any restaurant and get a cheeseburger, you're looking at like $14-$16.
Again, though, that's like a Western phenomenon because, like, if you're in Chiang Mai, for example, in Thailand, it's actually cheaper to eat out than it is to buy and cook food at your house.
That's crazy. We spend like on food maybe $100 a person per week.
I'm
$400 a week, something like that. I don't know. It gets kind of convoluted when you factor in like Uber Eats. Like we get lazy sometimes on the weekend, and we'll Uber Eats. I'm trying to drive and pick up the food more because Uber Eats. You probably don't have it there, but this is how they rope you in, and it's pretty smart. But it starts off as free. Like Uber Eats comes in your area, and this was years ago, and it's free to use. Okay, you just and there's no even tip, I don't think. And then they introduce a service charge, but the delivery is still free. Okay, and then over time they add a delivery charge, right, depending on how far away the restaurant is, etc. And then they added the tips back in, right? So now you're like, and I assume they can see when they get tipped, but there's pressure. You're paying like a 15% service charge. You're paying like $4 delivery on top of that, right? So when you think you buy, like you get food, like you have you're having the family over, you get like a big meal that's over $100, you're already like paying $20. And then they get sneaky with the tip. They like preset a 20% tip or something like that. And you're like, hell no, edit. And you put your own tip. I usually give them like $4 or $5, but I feel guilty. Like if I don't tip them, I don't know, like, are they going to see that? And are they going to start, eating my food? Like, so I would
wiping their sweat off in the air container.
Exactly. Right. So then I end up paying $5 tip. So you're ordering something $100, you're ending up paying like 25 just to have them bring it to you from like 2 miles away. And it's nice, it's convenient. But after a while, like if you do it a couple times in a weekend, it's just not even worth it anymore. I don't know. I mean, we'll still do it because we're just lazy Americans sometimes, but I'm doing it less and less. And now that the kids are at an age where we can take them like to restaurants and everything, at least where I live here, I mean, most of Florida's and never really closed, it's wide open. You don't have to, you're not really doing masking and stuff in the restaurants. So it feels like you want to go to restaurants more because it's just a normal experience. I remember one time my wife and I went out on a date. This was after the vaccine came out.
After she slapped you silly for...
Yeah, 10 years after, 12 years after that. But we go out on a date and we go to Coconut Grove. We go to a nice restaurant and we're sitting outdoors. And this was like, again, this is like, I guess like half the people this time were like wearing masks outside walking the streets, right? Coconut Grove's sort of this outdoor, really cool area. And we go to eat, we go in the nice restaurant and they sit us down outside and there's this couple next to us. Okay. They're obviously like a table, probably about 8 feet away. And when my wife and I sit down, they put on their mask. Okay. And we're like, that's kind of weird. Meanwhile, the table to the left of us has 12 people and they're all like yelling and they're loud. They're having a good time. But this husband and wife to the right of us, they're sitting there having a date, wearing the mask, like pulling it down. And we're out, and we're also in a area that's kind of pretty chill, relaxed. So it's not like there was pressure from anyone else to do that. But I'm just thinking, like, where are they getting their information from?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Where are they? Where's the pressure coming from that thinks that when you're sitting outside, like with your husband and wife, and you're like isolated, like 8 feet over here, that you need to be in a mask? And they were younger too. This was like, they were in their younger 30s. and they're like they have wine, okay, and she's like pulling down the mask, drinking wine, putting it back up, and it wasn't until my wife and I showed up. Maybe we just give off that vibe
that you might be infected with the Rona.
Do I give off that vibe?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not really thinking about it because I don't think I'm gonna get it from the touch screen. So
yeah, I just it's interesting to see it became the whole masking thing such a partisan issue.
I mean, are you like really are you really flirty with your wife like these days? Like when you go out on your date nights? Like,
I remember.
Like, are you like really touchy and stuff? Like maybe it goes back to like Sean the Playboy Ballent. Maybe they're looking over and they're like, hey, I recognize that guy. That's Sean the Playboy Ballent. If anyone has a Rona, it's him.
It's first of all, it's Ballent, and secondly, if we I'm
never gonna get that right. You know that, right?
If we haven't like didn't get in a fight at dinner, because we'll start arguing about stuff all the time, like but lately it's actually been, it depends how stressed out my wife is. Like if my wife is stressed out, we can go out on a date and like pretty early on, we can tell this isn't going to go that great, but most of the time, like we're happy to be out alone. And we're never touchy feely at we're beyond our honeymoon phase. Sometimes on the ride home, it might get a little touchy-feely, but that's all dependent on how our date went, right? If we get into some argument, like ever since Trump got out of office, it's been a lot more like we don't get into heated debates about shit, for whatever reason.
Because she doesn't have to deal with you supporting Trump. Is that what the problem is?
I don't support Trump. For me, and
I know I just had to throw that out there.
I've never
Charlie Q thing.
Yeah, Charlie Q. Look, Trump's hard stance on China, I was in agreement with, because China steals all our innovation, and I think it hurts this country. Hey
man, I like where you're going with this, because here's the thing. I really do like where you're going with this. I really dislike Trump as a person. I dislike him as a politician. But if you hate Trump and everything he stands for because it's Trump, then that's not freaking democracy. Look at the issues. I was a big fan when Trump got into power and he said, I'm going to cancel the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, because it wasn't good for me in Japan. It definitely wasn't good for Canada. And I don't think it was good for America either, right? Like this whole free trade thing, right? So yeah. I like where you're going with this, and you're right. Like anyone who is 100% like, oh, everything Obama does is brilliant. Well, no, that's not really the thing, right? If you can be a liberal, you can be leaning towards that side. But the fact that Obama bombed countries and killed people, you have to recognize that if you want to have a really good, concept. So I kind of totally jumped on that because when here's the thing come, it's not going back in the box.
Look, we agree. We absolutely agree on those type things. I don't know why so many people they draw this hard line in the sand and they're going to support whoever their person is, regardless of if they're doing some stupid shit. There's something that was interesting with Trump, and that's people thought he was this, I don't know, he was he had this
by him hitting them that they would clear the demons from his body.
No, he had this sort of silver bolt, he was this silver. People thought there were certain group of people that Trump was saying and doing stupid shit, but they thought he was almost they didn't see it for what it was at face value. Like there was this really, he was in the know, you know, like I don't know how to explain it. Like he's some sort of, you know, he's saying all this stupid shit, and no, he's actually like in the know, you know, and he's actually like, this is all just, he's playing everyone, which he was playing the media for sure. But
he was potentially one of the most honest presidents you've ever had. He like told people straight up what he was going to do, and then he did it, right? Like, and I don't like him. I don't like what he was doing, but like you have to give him credit for that. Nobody else in fucking American politics, in the history of American politics, ever got away with that, right?
Right. He wasn't going to play the, you know, the game. But I still didn't feel that he knew what he was doing. Right. Oh. Just because you don't want to play the game, or you're gonna, you know, maybe that's the dumbest thing you can do is not play that game more. And maybe you're being too honest, right? Maybe you want to hold some things closer to the vest. I don't know. I just didn't see him. Some people like worship this guy like he's some great president. I'd say he divided the country more than he unified it. And I think
by intention and design.
Yeah, and I think that I think he was dealt an unfair hand by the media from the beginning. But rather than, you know, trying to sort of make amends, he just poured gas on it. And in the end, I think that's what led to his demise.
I think he was dealt an unfair hand by the gods that be for his utter ignorance and stupidity. But let's just leave this before I get, you know, make enemies with Charlie Q.
Charlie Q.
I'll be back in a minute, but when I get back, I want to talk about this.
Oh, Jimmy, believe it or not, I still didn't reach my plot. People keep on killing me in the process. I got stuck in caves. I've burned into lava. I'll give it another try soon. Playing Snake on my Nokia right now. J&K, let me just tell you this. There are people at Uplift, and I'm not sure they want this out there, but I'm going to put it out there. There are people at Uplift that can just like, you tell them where you are and what your account name is, and they can just like port you, like they can just like shoot you right over to your plot. So if you can't reach your plot, maybe you can talk to someone over there at Uplift. Maybe Jimmy can set you up with someone at Uplift who can just port you over to your plot. Jimmy,
I'll have to listen to that back, but whatever you're talking about, I will tell you what didn't happen. What didn't happen was that I didn't meet Charlie Q in the game. Sorry, what didn't happen was that I didn't meet J&K in the game. I didn't, you know, get tired of typing and have a really interesting phone call with J&K in the game. And throw him a bunch of stuff like a bed, and then you know, lead him by the hand to his plot, and be accused of miraculously teleporting someone there, because I would never do such a thing. So I'm really not sure what's happening there, J&K. I really did have a really nice time hanging out with.
Just teleport the guy to the plot so he doesn't keep getting killed.
We were on the plot together, so I'm kind of curious to know what happened here. Send me a DM. I think maybe he forgot to put the bed down and lay down in it, and then when he died, he wasn't brought back there. But yeah, send me a DM. We'll fix it again. Yeah. So we were on there together, and I had to jump off to go to a show, so I don't really know what happened after that. But
why don't you in Genesis? Why don't you let people just fucking port themselves to wherever they want?
It wasn't Genesis.
I'm saying on Genesis, why don't you give people the ability to just port themselves to other places?
Well, part of that is going to come when the rewards pool for being in game gets turned on. because the rail actually, like traveling around the rail, will actually reward you more wax and uplift you for traveling along the rail. Even if you don't use the rail, if you travel along the rail, like fly along the rail.
And we can put rails in our on our that go like through our plot.
Yeah, you can put rails. I don't know if anyone would actually use them in Genesis though.
Well, they're going to use them on ours. Smithy said they will.
I think like if you have a rail that shows you cool shit, then people will use it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Like I don't know if you've ever seen any of our shows with Michael at EOS USA, but he built a really cool roller coaster, right? And like people were loving that shit.
Oh yeah. Fun. I see you did. Yeah, I have seen that. Here, fill out if you haven't, re-enter your shit in the form, and we'll do another duck race.
See, Charlie Q, you're not coming up to forum. Like last time we had this conversation, you were like, "Oh no, I just have Trump as my avatar."
Yeah, he's coming out. He's coming out.
Now you're showing your true colors.
What type of person wants to have Trump as their avatar just to piss people off?
You know what, Corey and Mize like.
Charlie Q, you need to start writing in your journal. We need to get to the bottom of this. And hold on, can I use your branding? 1 second. And here's the thing. Charlie Q, we want to see what Charlie Q looks like, right? Because sometimes in our group, you want to see what people look like, because, you know, you have this idea in your head, what they might look like just by the way they talk in a Telegram chat, but you really don't know. It's interesting. Certain people you know, other people you don't know. And so we've been asking Charlie to see a picture of him so we can figure this dude out who uses a Trump avatar just to piss people off. But
wouldn't it be funny if it was actually Trump? I had no idea that Trump was that intelligent, actually, to be honest.
He won't let us see him. He won't let us see him. So I don't know.
It's
Charlie.
Sad. Speaking of Charlie Q and your community, I was tagged in your chat the other day, and I want to address this. I don't play poker myself, but a lot of these guys who are in here today do. And 100%, if you guys want to invite, you know, some of the people from the Uplift community over to some of your standing poker games, feel free. Don't spam the fuck out of our chat, and don't ruin my name. But you're more than welcome to go in there and tag me and say, Kansai Crypto mentioned that some of you guys might want to come and play poker with us. I mean, do that once. One of you do that when you're leading up to the game, and we're totally okay with that, because some of our community might really enjoy that as well. So I'm just going to throw that out there. If you all come in and fucking Morton, that was good. Morton.
Fucking Morton.
That's really good. That's well played, Morton.
Swinging Jimmy, retired from poker. Swinging Jimmy.
Well, that's a well played, Morton. I'm impressed. That was quick on the bubble. I think I saw that pop up before I even said what I was saying. But yeah. J&K was just referring to Jimmy's version of events versus yours. What was my version of events? He never ended up on his plot. I think he just needed to turn around. I don't know. We'll do it again. But I did actually have fun with J&K, so like I'm not throwing any shade. Like
1 minute, like 1 minute, and I'm closing this form. So get your responses in. Uno minuto.
Maybe we should do that on New Year's Eve. If we haven't figured out whether Charlie Q is a real person or not, and we think he might be a bot, we'll just do the New Year's countdown. 1 minute to reveal yourself, Charlie Q, or we boot you out of the chat for good.
Some dude in the Middle East. Some dude.
No, he's talking about Phantom Puppeteer. I think that's probably who he's talking about.
Yeah,
but like doesn't that Charlie Q is definitely a Trump supporter. Only a Trump supporter would say some dude in the Middle East, right?
Yeah.
Like, only a Trump supporter would eliminate those lines of attention. I'm just saying, I like you, Charlie. Even if you're a Trump supporter, I hope I meet you someday.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. I have as much problem with Trump supporters as I do with people that like hate Trump, like to where it affects their lives. You know, like what are you, if you hate someone that much where it just like drives you insane, like when Trump was in office, where every morning you're waking up and you're getting angry at the TV and then that's a problem too, right? Things are never as bad as they seem. Things are never as good as they seem.
I mean, if you're a rational Trump supporter, I'm all for you. I'm all for that kind of, mentality.
Tell me this though. Why do people feel like I think you're this way and I'm this way? We're independent thinkers. Okay, we can agree with someone on this side and disagree, on both sides. Whereas some people, they're drawing that line in the sand, and even if Trump does something so stupid and everyone knows it's stupid, they're still gonna stand behind him for doing that stupid thing. That's what I don't understand. I don't get why people are like that. That's with a lot of partisan issues like the masking thing. I'm gonna wear this mask because I don't want people to think I'm a Republican. I'm gonna go ride my bike, in the 100-degree heat and wear my mask. It's so stupid.
I would argue, so not the mask thing. I get
people are scared of
but I would argue that happens on both sides. I would say just as like, Democrats,
of course it does, but why?
Liberals, we don't see it on the other side as much. We don't put as much faith.
But why? Why do people like? You think at some point we evolve beyond
it's
that?
Not where like I'm getting myself into trouble here, but it's not people. It's America. America is set up to have the dichotomy, right? Like it's like Canada has like 4 or 5 parties that are in the running for every election, right? Like it's quite a different story when you have a political system. We should have Corey on the channel because he's brilliant when it comes to these kind of talks. But when you have a political system that is set up, whereby 51% of the state votes and the whole freaking state population go towards that person, right? Like we don't have that in Canada. It's like it's the popular vote. It's not like state by state. And to me, like this is a freaking rigged election to me.
You don't even have free speech in Canada.
What do you mean we don't have free speech?
Not like we got it. Look it up, Jimmy. You should know. You should know. We've had this conversation. I know for a fact you don't really have free speech in Canada like we have it, which is sad. Isn't your president really like a king? But it's true, right?
But there's a flip side to this as well, right? The flip side to this is like Trump would be in prison for going on to a Canadian broadcast system and blatantly lying about Obama being born in Kenya. You're not actually allowed to do that. The media can't actually like promote these lies.
Right. But over time, right, you get the wrong person in power and those powers can be abused. So it's better. It's always better to have like free speech. Sometimes it might hurt you, but over the long term, it's always better to have like American style free speech.
Yeah, I disagree, and I used to teach history and politics in the U.S. Right? I don't think it's free.
Listen. Whenever the government makes laws, they don't take them back. Like they don't. Typically, they never take them back. So every time a law is made, that chips away at your freedom, right? And
I don't disagree with that point at all.
Right. So all it takes though is you to allow them to keep chipping away, chipping away, chipping away, chipping away, and then someone comes in power who then like almost like Trump did. He said, "Oh, this is the way they used to do it. Well, I'm just going to do it this way, and there's no one who can stop me." We're seeing it with the COVID shit, right? They make all these laws and mandates and stuff that 20, 30, 40 years ago, they would never have done these things. Like people would have I don't know, people wouldn't have let them, but they get away with it, right? Why? Because they say, Trump's saying this, so we're going to go completely the opposite way, and we're going to impose this and this because Trump said this, we're going to do the opposite. And people are like, yeah, we hate Trump, so go ahead, do it, right? Do it. And now the next time something comes up, they can just impose those restrictions twice as fast. Over time, all that's doing is just chipping away at your freedom. So I don't like it, you know?
I don't like what's happening in our comment section right now, to be honest, because this is kind of changing my mind about people. But I'm gonna say this, and I'm not even gonna do it in a way that like I would normally do it with the branding. I'm just gonna say it, right? Like yeah. I was very anti. I was a little bit worried about getting a vaccine, but it's really hard for me not to say, here's the thing. I was a little bit worried about getting a vaccine because I don't know whether there's enough case studies or tests done to it. But now I'm at the point where I actually haven't had a vaccine, and I'm a little bit annoyed that the country that I live in hasn't rolled it out to the same degree as other countries, right?
Because we're hoarding them.
Like we're making them ourselves. That's part of the problem. And we're giving the ones that we don't like away, which is fucked. I live in a country that is giving vaccines away and is running out of vaccines for its own people because like this vaccine, they don't really like it. Like it's like fucking the American beef, BSE, spongy forum, whatever scandal whereby, everything that's on the belt that goes to America is like checked triply, and everything that, is on the other belt with the brains goes to Mexico and other countries. This double standard really annoys me, right? I agree. The world is in chaos. I also think that
the world has always been in chaos.
Everyone needs to make their own decision, right? Look, and the fact that people are getting vaccines, in my opinion, is a really freaking good thing because we live in a society that trusts in the science, right? So for whatever reason, if you're not getting a vaccine, whatever reason, if you're not getting a vaccine, maybe you don't trust in the science. Okay, if you don't trust in the science of not getting a vaccine, I can personally kind of, see that, right? I can kind of be on board with that. But if you don't get a vaccine because you believe that they're out to manipulate your brains, sorry guys, I really like you as human beings. If we're ever at a party, I'll sit down and I'll have a conversation with you about every single topic on the face of the earth, but not this, because I'm going to walk away because it's crazy to me to believe that the U.S. military.
We want to kill the babies. The pediatricians want to kill the babies.
Don't kid yourselves. Yes, you live in a country that bears arms. You live in a country that provides you these things. But the U.S. military is so powerful that if they wanted to take your freedom away, they're not going to concoct some crazy vaccine scheme to do it. They're going to walk in and they're going to take it away. And if you're American and you actually believe anything opposite to that, then please reconsider, right? Because your constitution doesn't mean shit. You live in a country that has the most powerful military in the world that can walk in and take any other country by storm. They don't need to concoct this shit. I mean, unless it's an evil genius game in the ways of Descartes. And of course, I could 100% be wrong, but this is my take, right? If they wanted to take your freedom, they would. They're not going to concoct this, in my opinion.
I think people, we see it a lot in, crypto people. you know, that they're overall crypto people more than the general population is into like conspiracy and mistrust of government. If you're spending all day going down these like global vaccine conspiracy rabbit holes, you need to get a life, right? It's there's so much, you know.
Yeah, and so like there's various strains. I'm not saying that a vaccine is going to be a full protection, but I mean there's a big difference between saying, okay, I got the vaccine and it didn't do anything for me. I have a Canadian friend who lives in Texas, right? And in order to cross the border back to Canada, you actually have to have a vaccine, right? And it takes 3 days. You have to have the vaccine 2 days before you cross the border. You have to have the check. So he had the check back when he was in Texas, and he got the results when he got just shy of the Canadian border. And basically he tested positive for COVID, and he's had the vaccine, right? Like, so he had COVID and he had the vaccine. He's not showing any symptoms, right? So basically now he has to go into quarantine, but there's so many variations behind it, right? And so here's the thing. If he has the vaccine and he gets COVID and he doesn't die, then there's still a reason to take the vaccine, right? If he has the vaccine and he gets COVID and he's not on a respirator in the hospital, there's still a reason to take the vaccine, right? And Charlie Q is right. We probably shouldn't talk about politics. It does divide our community. Half will always agree. And, you know, you should talk about women and drugs, and everyone agrees with that. Well, everyone doesn't agree with that.
I don't, it's not bad to talk about it. I don't know. I think people should have the right to choose. I don't think they should vaccine passports, all that stuff. I don't like all that stuff. But I just don't think there is a global conspiracy to like feed people something that's going to harm them. I really don't. I think that
our food production system does enough of that, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the thing too. If the people that are, you know, don't take the vaccine, they're like smoking a pack of cigarettes a day and they're driving drunk and all that stuff. It's all about how you evaluate risk. Sure, there's a risk to everything. There's a risk that you can be allergic to a vaccine, have a negative side effect. But there's also a risk that, you know, I walk out my door and a coconut lands on my head and kills me.
In Florida, yeah, not in Japan. There's no risk.
Yeah, you know, if I don't know, I just don't. That's where people lose me, when it becomes this like global conspiracy where every doctor and scientists are all in on it, and every government official is in on it, and you know. Every friggin' pediatrician is in on this thing. Like, I just don't. I don't buy it. Again, I don't know enough to know, but if you're spending your day worrying about this type of stuff, and if it makes you angry, like if people taking the vaccine like angers you, you know, or like the vaccine angers you, then you should go out and try to have a life, because you're obviously not having one. Like when you feel the need to people, it's sort of like with religion too. You know, my dad was raised Catholic and he kind of fell out of it. I don't have a problem with people practicing religion at all, but I do have a problem when they start pushing their beliefs on other people, right?
Or professing global worldly love and then killing other people for their beliefs, right? Like that just doesn't. But there's a logic in there that doesn't add up.
There's a need for community. People benefit from community. That's obvious, but like, let's not get pushy about it. Let's not get angry about it. People should be free to make their own decisions, and without feeling the need like they have to influence other people's decisions.
I think that you bring up a really good point, right? Like we live in this. I don't know what came first. I guess it's a reflection of who we are, right? But we live in this society right now where, likes matter, right?
Yeah.
You post something on Facebook, and I never use it anymore, to be honest. But you post something there, and you get pissed off at your friend because she didn't like you. The meal that you had, with your boyfriend or whatever, right? Like the next time you see her, you're all salty, and finally it comes out. It's like, what are you so salty about? Like, what do you? It's like, fuck, like a week ago, I posted my food picture and you didn't like it. It's like, well, I honestly didn't see it.
I saw this thing on Facebook. I don't use that Facebook. I might open it once every other week, and I used to use it a lot more in college because it was like Tinder back in the day. But I saw someone post this thing, and I've seen it a few times, where it's this like long, drawn out, sappy post, and at the very end, it's basically like, if you've read this post, like, comment so I know who like my friends are, like if you've taken the time to read this post, please comment with like this comment to the post, and basically it's saying that, like, because those who have commented, I know are my real friends because they've taken the time to read this post. And it's like, huh? Like, and obviously I'm a real friend because I read the post and got to the end.
Jesus, those things drive me mad. And the worst part about it is, like, they always come from my mom. It's like,
yeah, no. Oh man, I saw my mom. My mom had like, during COVID, like, obviously my parents aren't getting out as much, even though my mom didn't give a fuck. Like, she wasn't scared. She told me like week 2, like, I'm like, Mom, you're still, because she's guardian ad litem. So she works with foster kids and stuff. She's driving out to the hood to be with these teenagers whose parents are prostitute or whose mom's prostitutes, like crazy, crazy stuff. Like, God bless my mom for being someone to do that stuff. But I'm like, Mom, you're not at all worried, because I wasn't too worried about COVID because I feel like I'm pretty healthy dude. And my mom's like, look, she's like, I've lived 74 years. I've had a good life. Like, it's her life mission to do this thing. So she's got thick skin. Like, she wasn't too worried, but they were spending more time at home and they were watching more news. Okay. And the level of hatred for Trump just kept elevating to the point where we're having these family like dinner discussions, and we're like, Mom, Dad, like, you can't, like, my brother and I are telling them, there's no reason you should hate anyone this much, like it didn't seem normal. And it was all because of the news media. Like, they got completely mediafied. And then my mom's on Facebook, and I watched her like months and months ago. She'd post like kind of innocent Trump humor type stuff. But then over time, it started like ramping up, like to the point where it seemed out of character. And I'm like, Mom, what is this shit? And what had happened was she was spending more time on Facebook, right? You start liking the anti-Trump stuff. The algorithm starts feeding you more of what you like, right? And so over time, you're in this echo chamber. And what happens when you post an anti-Trump thing? If it's like an innocent thing, you're not getting as many likes as if it's something crazy and everyone's liking it. So over time, she was ramping up her anti-Trump sentiment to the point where it was out of character. And I thought it was a bad look. And I sat her down and I like explained to her what was happening. And, I could tell she got it, but she kind of shrugged it off. But as soon as Biden won the election, my mom, she's like, we're having that family dinner, and she's like, you know what, Sean, you were right about the Facebook thing. I can see it. I can see now what was happening. But I was just happy Trump lost, because I was so tired of seeing my parents like they became obsessed with it because the media was obsessed with it. And now you have Biden, who is just like, boring. And the media's, all their ratings are dropping. And the craziness on Facebook, too, is probably dropping a little bit. They'll find something else.
Yeah, America does a few things really well. And most of them are good. You know, like there's not a country in the world that can
is badass
that can hold a candle to Hollywood, right? There's not a country in the world that can hold a candle to the music scene in the US.
Yeah, movie scene, all that shit, like,
right. But there's also not a country in the world that can hold, you know, a candle to the, you know, negative sentiment that proliferates through the news in the US, right? Like,
yeah,
even in states that I'm like pro.
The two are related though, right? So like Hollywood, the movies, it's people love the drama here. It's the news is so crazy. Like I can't watch it. I don't watch it. I watch it even hurricane season here. So whenever there's a storm, it'll be thousands of miles out or a couple thousand miles out. And everyone who's lived in Miami knows that the hurricanes go like this and they go like this. And rarely do you ever have like a direct hit of hurricane force winds. Like rarely. You might get some gusts, but rarely is it ever like a direct hit to wherever you are. But you turn on the news and they bring in the reports and you swear they make it seem like that thing is just gonna knock the whole like southeast out, you know, and then always a few days before it like turns and goes around. But it's so crazy how they're so good at building the drama, right? It's like a telenovela.
So, telenovela, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about? So when I was in Hawaii, and I was living in Waikiki, I lived on the 11th floor, and it was at the same time that the tsunami hit in Fukushima in Japan.
Oh yeah.
And you know, the missus, my wife at the time, we were living together, and like we got a phone call from my friend who was from California. And he called. He's like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, "I don't know. We're at home." He's like, "Did you hear about the tsunami that hit Japan?" We didn't hear. You know, we checked it out. All family was safe. He's like, "Okay, I'm gonna get my car. I'm gonna go up to the mountains. But like, what are you guys gonna do?" I'm like, "I don't fucking know." And so I went downstairs and I talked to the security guard. And the security guard was this like massive Samoan guy, right? Like this big Samoan like rugby player type of dude. And I'm just like, what should we do? And he's like, "Well, I think you're okay. I think you're safe." And I'm like, "But like they said that the tsunami is going to come and we should evacuate the area." And so he walks me outside and he's like, "You see this yellow line in the center of the road?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, that's the evacuation line. So we're on this side of it." I'm like, "What the fuck? We're on this side of the line, like an apartment building. Like, who decides this line?"
Was this So let me guess, you went upstairs to your apartment and you hung one leg over the balcony and you waited?
No. This wasn't it. Right. So I said he said, "What floor do you live on?" I'm like, "I'm on the 11th floor." He's like, "You're probably gonna be fine." I'm like, "Okay, well fuck it. I'm not gonna evacuate then because like we don't have a car, it's gonna be a pain in the ass." So I went upstairs. And as I was on my way up, he's like, "You're gonna be fine." I'm like, "What do you mean you're gonna be fine?" He's like, "I'm from fucking Samoa." He's like, "You know what we do when there's like a tsunami?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "There's a reason we're religious. We hug a fucking palm tree and then pray, right? Like Samoa's flat. Like there's no mountains. Like it's a flat country. If it's not a tsunami, we like rolls through there. We're fucked, right?" And so I kind of laughed. I went upstairs. I pumped up my my stand-up paddleboard to make sure. And then I called my mate, and I'm like, "Okay, mate, I'm just gonna stay here. I think it's gonna be fine." He's like, "Okay, well, fill your water up fill your bathtub up with water, and cook all the food in your fridge in case the power goes out. So like the missus was just like, fuck this, I'm going to sleep. So she went to bed. I filled the bathtub up with water. I cooked like all the food in my house, like all the food in my fridge, and like a bunch of pasta. And like I sat down and I watched TV because there's a couple hours until the tsunami's coming in.
I could see Jimmy sitting there with a big pot of pasta on his belly. He's in his underwear. He's got the TV on, and he's just eating pasta.
I wasn't eating pasta. It was all in the fridge. It was all right. And so yeah, this is what happened. So about like 5 a.m. in the morning, I'm watching the TV, and I see these two clowns on the fucking TV, and they walk because there's beaches on there's cameras on the beaches.
Yeah.
Right. Waikiki. And they walk out and they sit down and they light something up. I'm sure it was, a cigarette because Hawaiians are pretty good like that. But yeah, they sit, and I'm just like, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, what the fuck are these clowns doing? They're sitting on the beach and the tsunami's like due to roll in like in 5 minutes. And I'm just like, oh, Jesus, fucking idiots. The tsunami rolls in and it's like, this big. By the time it comes across the Pacific Ocean, I'm like, fucking hell, So I go to bed. I was a smoker at the time. Like I said, like I was all stressed out. I wake up in the morning, I go to school. I come back, Mrs. She looks at me at the time and she's just like, what are we doing? And I'm like, let's make dinner. And she like opens the fridge and she's like, what? Like, how much fucking pasta did you cook, right? Like, the whole fridge is just full of, like, plates of pasta.
God, yeah. You're the guy, the hurricane's coming, and you're getting canned goods, and you're like...
Well, no, but that's the thing.
You're using up all the gas, and you're filling your tanks, all that shit. It's so annoying. It's so annoying when people...
Well, here's the thing, right?
Here's the thing. Were you the guy during COVID who was buying up toilet paper from Costco by the... Okay.
No.
You just use leaves? You just
not
use
at
leaves?
all. The next day I went to the supermarket and the shelves were empty. Everything was empty, right? Like there was no food left on the shelf. There was no water. Within 2 hours of that announcement coming in, like Costco was dry of water. Right, like all these people went and they hoarded all this shit, right? Like I've always got a little bit of canned goods in my house just because I'm used to living in Japan, right?
It's funny because the media is like, oh my God, freak out, like it's coming. And then everyone goes out and hoards shit. And then they're like, don't hoard anything. Like, please be respectful. Don't hoard stuff. But they create so much of the drama, right? Which causes people to go out and hoard. And then they tell you to calm down.
Yeah. And then, right? It drives me absolutely insane. And I mean, like, I live in a country where, we have constant earthquake threats. I mean, I don't know, like, I guess hurricanes and typhoons are pretty much the same thing. I'm sending second place the clear miner right now, just so that you guys know. And something, but yeah, I mean, I come from a small town in Ontario originally, and nothing happens there. There's like a tornado, but like tornadoes really aren't that dangerous. I mean, I had a friend who why won't this transaction sign? There we go. I had a friend, well, my grandmother's friend who lived in a retirement kind of home, and she called our parents one day and she's just like, yeah, that tornado like took off our front balcony, and like we went over to see it and the front balcony was gone, but like nothing else, like the flower beds were like all still intact. Like it's a very different situation from like a massive earthquake or typhoon, right? Like
in case anyone's wondering, this is Robitussin.
I don't even know what Robitussin is. Cough syrup.
Cough syrup. It's a 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 cough
Why are you drinking coffee?
I'm not
Like,
drinking. It's kombucha, bro. I'm joking.
Are you out of alcohol?
Kerp drank. Yeah. No, if I run out of alcohol, I just drink rubbing alcohol. That's the play, right? No, it's
I'm gonna again. There was this thing that these people
I'm sponsored by kombucha.
In my university town used to do, and like it was really bad. And the natives used to do this. They used to like you can't really see it, but if you flex your hand like this, like here, there's a little dimple between your thumb and your, and they used to put like vodka in it, and they used to sniff it, and like it would get you like really fucked up apparently, like. And one of the worst things that ever happened in Canada when I was a university student was there was a bunch of poor native people like up north, and they kept dying from like alcohol overdosing. And like it's pretty much impossible to die from alcohol overdosing. But like what they would do actually is they would put like 40 proof vodka into a syringe, and they would inject it like right into their veins. And this wasn't like a one-time thing. Like this was a big freaking problem. And like this kind of shit fucking scares me. So yeah, don't inject rubbing alcohol in your veins if you're out there and you're listening this to us today.
Do it. Oh, we might get deplatformed, Jimmy, with comments like that.
Where the hell is
Ricardo? What stream is Ricardo watching? If there's only Ricker Ford Wham. Ooh, it's a little English ducky.
Dude, that's so bad.
That's
really bad. I'll be back.
This is.
Do you like my crab, by the way? It's a really
whose account
crab.
is this? Whose account is Ricker for Wham? Who is it? Well, let me get Ricardo's comment off the screen. D Squad one. D Squad, congratulations on winning. Well, we're about to find out what you won. Let's go over here. Is there any community in the wax space that gives out as much value in NFTs as Writer does? Because if there is, we should do a show together and give away more NFTs. I think for when Finney 2.0 is ready, we're going to give out like 100 Finney coins in a show. Something crazy. Maybe not 100. We'll do something crazy though. Second place and third place, you're going to get a Tommy King's thing that'll work for Wax Arena.
It's funny to me. I have to shout out Morton here.
Oh, yeah?
And kind of out him a little bit too. Because I had a conversation with him. He helped me.
Membership Morton. Oh, did you put him up to the whole membership thing? What do we got?
No, I didn't even know about it until you told me, actually.
Ooh.
Although, if anyone in our community actually said that to me, I probably would have followed up on it. The rest of you clowns, probably not. Definitely not Charlie Q anymore, you freaking.
A bit. We got a pleb.
I'm just kidding, Charlie Q. I like you.
Charlie Q.
I don't know.
He's that guy.
Right? Yeah.
He's just that guy. How do you become that guy?
Hey, Charlie Q, write us a Cryptowriter blog post how you became that guy.
Yeah. What do you like? How do you think you just? How do you become that guy? I just want, because Charlie Q is that guy. Like, if there's
no, but
one
he
guy in the
like
comments, he's
he's
that guy. I don't know what that guy, like, I don't know how to define that guy, but Charlie Q is that guy. But I want to know how you become that guy.
yeah, and this is a really fair point. We're gonna set him off again because he was kind of quiet, but it is a fair point.
Yeah,
right?
but I agree. I see Bitcoin as a hedge against all the fuckery in the world. So I agree with him there. But I don't
But
like, as they
there's a
destroy
disconnect.
all. I just don't. Look, maybe you consider me less of a person, but I don't have time to worry about shit that's out of my control.
Well, and there's another.
I don't want to. I don't want to worry about shit that's out of my control, because I look around and my life is pretty good, and I have beautiful kids and a beautiful wife and like a big community, and this government, whatever, afforded me that. And some of it is white privilege, because I happen to be born into a family where my parents were both educated. They were both teachers, and we had a good upbringing. But I don't know. It's hard for me to worry about, the government printing money and doing all this stuff. It's like, whatever, it's too big for me. I'd rather focus on my family and friends and this beautiful life that I was given and am super grateful for.
And this crazy show that we fucking created. I have something to say on that though, because Morton's right. Here's where the disconnect gets me. And Charlie, again, this isn't a personal attack. I like you. There's going to be things that you say that I'm not going to like, and there's going to be things that you say that I'm going to throw up on the screen because I think you're bang on right. And Sean rants are great, by the way. That's kind of a perspective that I need, because I'm focused on these bigger things, not because I'm a bigger person. That's just where my mind goes. And I need to actually take a page out of Sean's book and focus a little bit more on my family, which is what I'm trying to do. But here's the disconnect, right? We're saying that, these institutions, these powers that be, are destroying our fiat currency. I might have just found the problem with my whole argument, and I might just fuck myself here. Anyway, we're saying that these institutions and these powers that be are the ones that are destroying our fiat currency. Yet they at the same time are preventing the mass scale adoption of Bitcoin. So I guess the only kind of possible way through is that they're accumulating in the background. So that's kind of the loophole in what I was going to say. But like you're not wrong. I think you're not right either. But you're not wrong. I'll give you this. And this is this is kind of my take, right? My take is that these people are leeches, right? Like the people who run the governments of the day, they didn't create this situation. But when they saw this situation, they, did what they've always done, and they were able to be opportunistic and take advantage of it. And, that's where we are today. The people who had the power looked at the situation that was happening, and they took full advantage of it. And that's why they are where they are in the world that exists with the values that persist. And that's kind of, where I stop. I don't look into it much further than that. I do actually agree with Charlie that, if you can, figure out a way to get one BTC and don't let go of it, because I think that it's going to be valuable at some point.
To me,
figure out a way to monetize yourself through NFTs and through crypto. But you still got to pay taxes if you're driving on the roads. You still got to buy food, and crypto's not there yet to enable us to be able to just walk into a supermarket and buy crypto with Bitcoin. It's not there yet, right? So you still, Sean, I agree with you as well. You still have to play in both worlds, right? You still have to pay the bills.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I see Bitcoin and crypto as just new emerging asset class, and just like, you know, stocks and bonds back in the day came to be, you know, crypto, the same thing's happening. I mean, it's going to be, you know, the Bitcoin people are trading in an ETF, whatnot. I mean, all crypto assets are just a new way to move money around and speculate. I don't know. For some people, Bitcoin's going to become like a thing, a way of banking the unbanked, and it's going to do super positive things. But for most people, I think it's just going to be another, you know, it's just another asset class, and it's an asset class that I definitely want to have.
If you've been paying attention to what, sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I like I said, I just see holding Bitcoin, like holding it in your own wallet, you know, your own hardware wallet. It's a nice hedge against all the fuckery in the world, because it's something that you control and you own and you can do shit with. But like, you know, there's a Bitcoin ETF, and people are going to start, you know, filling up their traditional portfolios with more crypto assets and stuff, but they're not really going to be like holding Bitcoin, you know, it's just going to be a note.
What's that dog doing behind you? He's really, oh, there's two of them. I see. Those are really rambunctious back there.
They're getting fired up. Bitcoin always gets them fired up. Come on.
I've been saying, like, and I think here's where you're right too, is I've been saying this for a while. Like, one of the things that really annoys me about Ethereum actually is Ethereum, for me, when it comes to things like DeFi, it's just banking 2.0. I mean, they're doing the same shit that the banking institutions are doing, in a lot of ways, right?
But the thing is, it's a canvas though for innovation, right? So like,
I'm not saying all Ethereum is bad.
Because Ethereum is still the you know, crypto in general is still the Wild West. It hasn't like really been regulated yet, and if they want to, they will regulate it. They're just like sitting back and figuring out how they're going to regulate it, and one day it will be regulated. But for the time being, it's the Wild West, and you can, you know, all the speculation drives innovation and people trying new things and doing cool shit with NFTs and doing cool shit with DeFi and doing cool shit with NFTs and DeFi, and like, they're trying all these things, and 99.9% of this shit isn't going to stick. It's not going to be around next year. It's not going to be around the year after that. But a few things will stick, right? And they'll help improve our current system and make it more dynamic. But like, I don't know. I've always felt safest just kind of like holding mostly Bitcoin and having a little on the money on the side to like play around with. But I don't believe, like, bro, there's a new project every single hour, right? There's a new crypto project popping up every single fucking hour. And I've been in the game. I'm sure you have long enough to know that it's probably not going to be around next year. So I try not to get too excited about things and say, this is the next big thing, because I don't really know what the next big thing is, but I know stuff like Bitcoin, Ethereum, it's here to stay. Like, it's not going away.
We had this conversation last night, actually, you know, off air. Like, it's hard for me to get excited about bullish, right? Like, it's like, I hope that
that's going to really piss Charlie Q off.
Right. He's the enemy but like I hope that it does well, right? But I hope that other things did well as well. Like there's no negative sentiment.
It'd be nice if Block One could deliver on something that's actually successful. It's
a mutual friend of ours who is one of the best developers in the space. I told you this story as well, and I'm not going to say the name because it's not my story to tell. But basically, you know, I know that he was, you know, in an interview, and basically he told people what he was going to do, and they said, "Prove it," and he did it. He came back and he proved it. He did it,
yeah.
Right? Like he came back and he did it, and he proved it, and he proved them wrong, right? And until Block One and Bullish, and you know, probably never not going to happen anymore, but Voice,
they prove
themselves, right? Like that there's no point in throwing what's it been now? 2018, 3 years. Sean, you and I have been sitting in this space
3 years of
waiting for people to prove it, right? And
so
and
it's like
really come to fruition.
I see like Block One, like there's, you know, and I was a defender of Block One, and I genuinely want Block One to succeed and be like, fuck you, like we told you we were gonna do something. But I see Block One kind of like is the same way I see Trump, where there's all these people that like believe in the mysticism or the like that they have some, you know, while everyone else is playing poker, while everyone else is playing checkers, B1 Trump, they're like playing some like 3D chess over there. And I used to think that about Block One. I'm like, oh, they're taking, you know, they're playing the long game. They're setting themselves up. They have all this money, but like spending $30 million on a domain name when your community that funded your whole fucking thing is out there like dying to survive, okay? And then you say, oh, we're gonna change social media, and you spend $30 million on domain name, and then, you know, Voice team, great intentions, but crypto is earned, right? You don't just enter this space and think you're gonna like throw your weight around. It doesn't work like that. Like it takes years to like understand this space, you know, and B1 and the geniuses that they are, they hire, you know, all these people outside of crypto to run a crypto company. And it's to me, it just became sort of sad that you put all this money, you know, 30 million on a domain and set these super high expectations. How do crypto projects usually end up being successful? Like, what's their path? Usually you don't hear anything, and then all of a sudden it's like boom, like it takes over. Like people hear about it and they use it and they're like, this is awesome, and everyone rushes in, whether it's an NFT marketplace or what. Meanwhile, you have this social media platform that is like talking about how they're changing the world. They're going to change the world. They're going to do this. They hadn't done shit yet, right? They hadn't done shit. They did a lot of talking and they hadn't done shit. And a year into it, oh, this isn't working, so let's pivot and do this. Oh, we're going to change the space for creators. We're not just like crypto NFTs. We're like NFTs for creators. And you haven't done shit, right? So it's like it almost hurts me that because I know how much people poured their lives into EOS and developing on EOS, and like just like they were sold on that vision, and Block One supporting them and all those things. And bro, Block One hasn't been there, you know, and then they go throw $30 million at a domain when people are struggling to put food on their plate. So I would love to see Bullish succeed, but more than that, I would love to see the EOS community have a way to get funding, right? Like I don't care. How can I say that I'm going to get behind bullish when, you know, the community's out there, they're starving, like looking for scraps, right? And it's got no support from Block One. So that's where I am on that.
I've learned this from my good friend Sean. Somebody out there, clip that, make an NFT out of it. Hashtag shed rants worth listening to, and fucking post the hell out of it, because that was a good rant. I liked it. I'm here for it all day.
Get me fired up. Look, man, EOS has been a part of my life, for a part of a lot of our lives for years now, right? You dedicate so much time and energy, and then it's like they sell you on a vision. They did a great sales pitch and get everyone super excited. And there's this huge opportunity because the technology is good, right? And there's this huge opportunity to like take over market share of the crypto space. And all this money, $1 billion to fund development on EOS, and it all goes to projects that aren't required to build on EOS, and the people distributing the money aren't even a part of the community, so they don't even know what the community needs. And it's just sad. Like, it's such a wasted opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, give Kenny and I fucking $30. You know, I said $30, $30,000, but give us $30. We will do.
Much what they gave me,
look,
right?
we will do. There will be if you gave us $30, there would be a bigger net gain. We could create a bigger net gain for EOS than Block One or than Voice could do with $30 million domain name in a year, you know, and nothing to show for it.
Yeah, like, and our roundtable last night, kind of Myra pointed this out as well, right? Like, there's a lot of block producers, a lot of people who are doing shit, you know, out of their own pockets that are progressing the network further. So Charlie Q, no, I agree. We should talk about BTC, but this is an American sponsored news network, and we only talk about negative news. So that's why we don't talk about BTC.
Charlie, defender of Block One.
I'll defend Block One. Go ahead, guys. Bring it on. Yeah, you can defend Block One, but you have to be rational about this, right?
But if you're defending Block One, then you're not standing behind all the people that have poured their lives in this shit for the last 3 years and have gotten not a single like scrap of support from Block One. So you can choose Block One, but I'm not choosing Block One, right? Like, I want Block One to succeed because I think if they could actually succeed, it might help the EOS ecosystem, but it's all smoke and mirrors until proven otherwise.
Yeah, Charlie, I don't know if you wear a mask, but you're more than welcome to come on. We'll send you the link. You can wear a mask on the show and you won't have to reveal your face. Yeah. But this is like, I saw this meme the other day and I had to laugh, right? Because there's different ways that people wear masks, right? Like, you wear a mask properly, you know, over your nose. You wear a mask like under your nose, and you wear a mask on your chin. And it was a really good meme because it's like, you know, it's got the picture of the guy wearing a mask on his chin, and the picture of the guy wearing a mask, like, you know, wear a mask properly, right? Like you're trusting the mask to do its job, whether it works or not, we don't know, right? But you know, you wear a mask under your nose, you're kind of like playing the lottery, right? It's a 50-50 kind of chance. It's pretty good odds for the Rona to get into your system. And you wear a mask on your chin, you know, you believe in magic. And it's like, I thought this was really good, right? And so this is kind of the point where I'm at with Block One, honestly. It's like, you've had enough chances. I'm still here, but I'm not going to like preach to the high hills about the value that you provide, because that's kind of believing in magic right now. I'm not going to sell my EOS and run away. I think that eventually you'll get it right, but you need to fucking get it right, right? And like, I don't know, like, we've had Adrienne on the show in a somewhat meltdown before, actually, you know, and I think she's just fucking pissed. And there's probably better ways for her to deal with it, if I'm honest about it. I mean,
well, she got personally hurt by her experience working with Block One, and
right.
again, though, like a lot of what she says is probably right, because we've heard the same story from a lot of people who worked at Block One and then left. It's the same type of shit. I just don't understand how you can have so much money and be so bad at doing things. Like, you have so much money and such a big opportunity. And look, they answer to shareholders, right? So what
the only thing
what
the
Bloomer
only thing
might
that,
yeah, but what Bloomer might want to do and what other EOS faithful might want for the community, the shareholders might not want. And I've heard rumors about that, right? Like, shareholders want Block One to create revenue. And that's what Bullish is there for, to create revenue, right? Because even if you have all the Bitcoin in the world and you're just holding it, you got to put it to work, right? You got to make money for your shareholders. And by supporting EOS, like the EOS ecosystem, you're not really bringing in any money for your shareholders. So like, Bullish goes live and they're hashing to EOS, it's a private chain, whatever, and they're hashing to mainnet. That alone, that attachment to EOS that attachment to EOS mainnet isn't gonna do that. It's not really gonna do anything for EOS, except maybe help with sentiment. And my hope is, though, that if Bullish can be successful and it is attached to EOS and sentiment does start changing and they start providing an avenue for EOS tokens to get listed, right? Maybe they start with Shentai and Everpedia IQ token and then go to DApp and like expand out from there. Then that could have sort of a ripple effect. The sentiment would change and maybe things would get moving. Pomelo, the community funding mechanism goes live in fall. I know EOS Starter's working on stuff, and maybe you start kind of changing the trajectory a little bit towards the positive, but it's still, I mean, this is months away still, right? Like it's not going to be immediate overnight thing. Like a lot of people are going to have to work, and maybe Eden, actually becomes legitimate, and that could be a positive. But it's like now, right? Let me just say one more thing. Right now, I would prefer that EOS, the public blockchain, be run like a business. Like I at this point, I want someone to be like a CEO, and there be a COO, and them have like a board of people that help, and they just like get that 10 million in RAM fee and just start like handing it out and greasing the right people and doing all these things in like, just changing the direction. At this point, there's really not that much to lose because there is not really anything at all going on EOS.
I mean, for me, I think what hurts the most for me is that one of the best things I think that Block One ever did was they took some funds and they invested in BTC, and they held that Ethereum and BTC, right? And this set them up to be a company that can't really fail, right? Like they're in my opinion, one of the first crypto companies that is too big to fail, right? Because they're sitting on this cash, right? And they get a lot of flack for that, but that was the smart business decision. If you look at all these projects from the last bull run before this one, that failed because they didn't have the funding. Block One did that right.
Yeah.
But not funding was a problem. But I think what was more of a problem was the fact that they just basically walked away from the community. They just went silent and just basically ghosted everyone. Right? Like had they kept involved, right? Like had they done the job to any substantial standard that all of the block producers are doing to keep this network running, it would have been a different story in my eyes. And that's all I'll kind of say on the matter.
I mean,
so
yeah,
they, in order to get the community involved again, it took Dan leaving Block One to come back and like bring them back in. And we're not even sure if that's going to be successful.
Yeah, right? we're not sure if that's going to be successful. All the things that are happening now, we needed 2 years ago. You know,
right?
when there was signs of life and momentum. Show me the money. Like if you, the only way I see EOS getting out of this is if there is a clear path to get funding, and a lot of funding. And you have little like Pomelo, they're going to do, quadratic funding, and, Block One's going to match grants, and that's all great. But that, again, this is like stuff that's going to take, the first round of funding. It's not going to be that much because they're still figuring it out. It grows over time the same way Gitcoin did. There was so much opportunity at one point when you had all these developers and community BPs all working on stuff. And if the funding had gone to them, right, things I think would have been a lot different. Like you would have created network effects, and it would have started gaining its own momentum. But now that it's, pretty bleak, I don't know. Like you need to get money into the ecosystem fast. Does Bullish do that? I don't know. I hope it does, but I haven't. There's no guarantee, right? There's no guarantee of anything from B1. They've had a history of saying they were going to do things, and for whatever reason, not doing it, and then not telling the community like exactly why it didn't happen. And then the community's like, oh, they're working with the SEC or regulations tough. And I'm not buying all, I'm not buying all of that at this point.
Yes, the green screen of the shed.
Yeah, I redid the shed, guys. I just finished polishing the floor. I
mean, I think that EOS isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon, but I don't either. Despite Charlie Q's faith, I think I won't be surprised if some other EOS.io chain or multiple EOS.io chains eclipse EOS at points in time. And it might not be like forever. It might be an up and down thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it might be. Yeah, it's crazy that how low Wax is sitting in market cap with all the shit going on, right? Like, for one, I hope that, although I do remember when Wax was like $1, I do remember back in the day, Wax being $1. Few years back, but when you look at EOS.io as a whole, if only EOS was the glue,
Jesus, that's one hell of a fucking prediction, to be honest.
Wow.
That's big, Phantom. Like I like 2023, maybe I could maybe get on board, but 2021, that's like 6 months away, man. That's like, I mean, and that's not necessarily an EOS thing. Like that's a whole blockchain crypto thing, right? Like if EOS is at 100 USD by the end of 2021, where's Bitcoin going to be? Where's Ethereum going to be? Like, I don't see any EOS breakout on that. I mean, I guess I could be wrong, and like usually I'm wrong. I'm a shit trader, so if I say I'm wrong, then that's going to be good, right? But that's a really bold prediction. Like I've seen $50. I've seen like $35.
I mean, hey, Jimmy,
like,
things can turn around quick. Again, our emotion, like sentiment towards EOS is like very dependent on the price of EOS. So when EOS was like hit $12 a couple months ago, like everyone's like, oh, there's all this, there's all this hope. But what I'm looking at is network effects on Ethereum, right? Where, they are creating innovation right and left, and more developers are pouring in and creating more innovation, and there's more value being locked up on chain. And then I look at Wax, okay, and we're doing some innovation on Wax, and you're doing innovation on Wax, and it's exciting, and there's a lot of users. Yeah, and there's a lot of users, and there's people speculating, and pack sales are selling out, and there's all that going on. And then I look over at EOS, and it's people just basically arguing about Eden and what needs to be done, and why they can't do this, or why they shouldn't do this, or why this. Look, man, this is like, the way I see it, EOS is sort of like rock bottom, like in terms of development. There's not that much going on. Like, it's time to be bold. Like, you need an influx of capital, and you need people acting quickly and being bold and like turning this thing around. You need leadership.
Which is interesting to me, because like from technological perspective, it was designed so. There's an interesting story here, actually, because a friend of mine in Japan, he said this, and he said that the modern decline of Japan is very simple to understand if you look at what happened. In America, you have bridges that are breaking because they're not maintained. Japan is a really interesting country in that, like, everything is almost perfect and always new, right? And you see these people walking train lines doing nothing. You see these people like that are engineers that don't do anything, right? And his theory is that, like, 20, 30 years ago, Japan was designed so well. The infrastructure in Japan was designed so well that the people who have to maintain it have actually become dumb, because there's nothing for them to do, right? and I always like that analogy, but what you were saying kind of made me think of that, right? Like, from a tech perspective, EOS is bang on. It's one of the best blockchains out there, right? Not very many blockchains can hold a candle to it. But you have this technology and this infrastructure that's designed so well that wasn't mass adopted, that nobody's really using. And like you said, we've eliminated to a case where, like, people are arguing over stupid shit about governance that doesn't really matter in many cases, right? And I'm not trying to put people down. I'm not trying to say one side is right and one side is wrong. But, like, I'm a big advocate about the fact that, like, we as a species are, you mentioned this earlier, right? But we as a species we're fucking idiots. Like, we're watching, like, we're not anymore, but we're watching Jerry Springer and, like, date night shit on TV when we have the technology to be fucking living in space on the moon, right? Like, like you're telling me that the only person on the planet that, like, can get us to the moon is Elon Musk? Like, there's something fucking wrong there, right? Like, I'm not throwing shade at Elon Musk, but what I'm saying is, like, we're a fucking intelligent species who comes up with ideas for things like, Star Trek, and we're still not on the fucking moon. What's going on? It doesn't make any sense, right? Like we're in this situation where we have too much information and no ability to be able to use it, and that's what's holding us back as a species, as a civilization. The fact that we're still using gas, the fact that, like, we're seeing increasing global warming and the effects of a degraded environment, and we're still focused on recycling instead of building that environment up, to me is absolutely crazy, right? And if we port that into the EOS system, the fact that, like, we're not actually doing anything to progress this blockchain forward, it just doesn't make any sense to me. There needs to be a better way than just, like, saying, okay, well, EOS is the future. Like
Yeah.
we need to be able to prove it as a community. Block One needs to be able to prove it as a company. And where you're right is that other people have taken the technology and they're in the process of including it. Wax is doing great things, right? Like I'm super excited for Ultra, right? Like I think Ultra is gonna fucking take the world by storm and blow it out of the water.
I don't know if it is.
Fair enough.
And I bought, well, I don't even want to say on air, but let's just say I bought some Ultra a few, well, over, I don't know what it is now, probably close to 2 years ago. Thank you, Max Schill, for giving me the tip on that one. Because hey, I did great. I sold his Max Schill's feeling was that like how's Ultra gonna work if you cut out all the like people under 18 aren't going to be allowed to be slanging tokens around.
Max Schill's sometimes smart, isn't
at one point, but then he probably yeah, he's a good one. He's a good one. That's a good idea.
Should totally get him on.
But he did well on Ultra too, obviously, but he sold at one point. I asked him why he sold, and he gave he can explain it better than I can, but he gave a legitimate answer. And I'm like, yeah, I can see that. So it was a good time for me to sell. It was one time I actually sold and didn't like let it go back down to zero. So yeah, there's always gonna be like I try not to get married to any project because it seems like there's always another project, you know.
Fair enough.
The chances of Ultra like really disrupting things are still, even though in terms of a crypto project that's doing what they're doing and taking on Steam, stuff like that. Sure. It's a promising project, but the chance of it actually like taking over, I've yet to really see a crypto project like take over, you know? Would it be the first? It would be like the first crypto platform to like take over in a mainstream way. I mean, of course you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, but I mean like a platform built for a specific purpose to then be mass adopted. It'd be like one of the first ones.
Yeah,
So is Ultra the first special purpose blockchain to go mainstream?
I think it has a better chance than some others. I don't have enough of it that if it fails, I'm going to be upset. But I also don't have enough of it that if it does do what you say, that I'm going to be pissed that I don't have.
Yeah. Well, that's like the worst place to be, Jimmy.
Right? Yeah.
That is the worst place to be. We're gonna do one more duck race. If you haven't filled out the form, I'll repost it one more time and give you like one more minute to fill it out, and then we'll have a final duck race. And Jimmy, now would be a good time to get sentimental, Jimmy. If you want to say how much you enjoy talking to me and enjoy Charlie Q and
I think Charlie Q left. I think we drove him out.
All the anti
shit that we were streaming out.
Charlie Q is definitely married to that EOS bag. That's for sure. I still sort of am, but I'm like, just I don't know.
I guess. Well. Here's the thing. I have something that I can get. I have something that I can get sentimental about. Charlie Q's still here. He just went quiet. I'm a little bit impressed that we've been on the air for 3 hours, and we've had a pretty solid, over 30 viewer count the whole time. Might be some of the same people, might be people popping in and popping out.
Quan, get in on that form so you can win one today, bro. Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, it's okay. I was it was good. It gave me a chance to.
It's a little creepy. It's a little creepy when you think about that, right?
That's what I was kind of talking about as well. Yeah.
Charlie Q's been known to get a little handsy at times in our chat.
I mean, fair enough. I'm grateful.
30 seconds, and I'm closing this final duck race form.
I'm grateful that Charlie Q is here, and I'm also grateful for everyone else is here. There was some heated, comments up above, but everyone did it with respect, and nobody got really offended, and I think that that's a really good thing, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think I can like heated comments. I don't know. I'm sort of untrollable, I think, to a point. I've been desensitized my whole life. I show zero emotion. So heated comments, if any of them were directed at me, you're not going to get to me.
Tech Geek's calling me out here. Fair enough.
Yeah. Oh, there was a little Adriana talk last night, late night in our chat. Somehow she came up. That's probably where people were inspecting her Twitter.
Don't ever make a meme of that.
That came out better than expected. All right, I'm closing the form, guys. We're going to do one more duck race. Let me share the screen. Here's the thing.
Yeah, Charlie, you know what? Like, you're more than valid to have an opposite opinion and voice it anytime in the chats, as long as you do it with respect. Because I respect that.
It's good to have a someone to argue with. Yeah,
or just
it's better to say something than say nothing.
I mean, I could sit with Charlie Q in a bar for 2 or 3 hours and have a few drinks and have this debate or this discussion and still give him a hug goodnight. Because
if you haven't yet, go ahead. You're gonna give Charlie a hug goodnight.
Probably not, because the fucker doesn't wear a mask and he's not vaccinated. But like pre-corona times, like I would totally give him a hug.
Yeah, right. Jimmy's not fearing the Rona. Although Jimmy doesn't get enough vitamin D and he doesn't get any exercise, so
that's all about to change, because you know where I'm going next month.
You're pumped about this. I'm going to, I told you, Boise, Idaho in 3 weeks.
Why do you always got to make this about you, man? Why?
Because, well, look, we've been hearing about Okinawa for, no, I'm kidding, for a good, 3 weeks now. I'm just dropping the Boise, Idaho. Why did I choose Boise, Idaho?
I asked you that, and it's a good answer. I think it's a great
I can't
answer.
remember what I said, but my sister has told me, and they travel all over the place. It was the one place she went where she didn't expect she was going to like it, and they have a river that runs right through downtown. And then they have this Greenway Trail or Greenbelt Trail or something. They have this awesome bike trail that runs right along the river. And then they have all these different restaurants and stuff set up. And there's hiking and it's a nice, good, place where we can take the kids. It's accessible, and the weather should be good. And yeah, so that's why we're going there. And we're gonna go rafting, and we're gonna ride bikes. I'm gonna hike the kids up the trails, and yeah, we're gonna have a good time. And also, I get there on Thursday, and then Friday is Volume 1 pack drop, so I'm gonna be excited for that. And it'll be nice. I hope it's successful, because if it's not successful, it's gonna ruin my fucking vacation. So if you're if any of you community members are watching, make sure to give me the gift of success with Crypto Finney Volume 1, and I promise you we will make it worth the Cryptowriter is going to make it. It'll be worth your money. That's for sure.
I mean, yeah, I'm down. I gotta figure out some wax to stack, but
okay, let me share screen and let's do this.
Yeah, while you get ready to go, how long is this race going to be? I want all of you to not ponder whether your duck is in last place, but if your duck isn't in the running, what you can think about is why Charlie Q says Adriana makes him crave pancakes. Because like,
oh my god,
I got nothing really.
Oh god, we're gonna get NFT Joe is not gonna like any of these comments, and we're gonna get lectured on why we can't say pancakes. I don't know. I don't even know what Charlie Q's talking about, to be honest with you.
I mean, I'm more of a crepe guy myself, Charlie, but
oh yeah, well, I'm more of a Cinnabons guy myself. All right, names are in.
Shit just got really weird.
All right.
How
are you ready?
Is this a 3-second race?
This is a 3-second race.
Holy fuck! This
Bro.
is
Ooh, we have
in history.
a ginger clown duck. You see him here with a party hat? It's his birthday. The Reese duck. Here we go. Is everyone ready?
I've got a question before we go.
Okay.
Martin wants to know whether your buns are frosted or unfrosted. Or if you like to frost it yourself.
I lick the frosting right off.
All right, 3-second race. This is the
Here
first time in history. Go.
No!
Oh, that's so good.
Oh, it's good. 3 seconds. And we got this cute little duckadoo.
The big duck came out of nowhere. Can we get a replay on that?
I wish we could get a replay. Who are you in the? Who did it? Who won? Are you in the chat?
WKB.
Luke Wham. Oh, it's a re-winner.
Oh, so who's in second place?
Is it a re-winner? Someone else confirm. I need 3 confirmations. It's a re-winner.
I've got the last one in the private
someone
chat.
Oh, Dreamer. I think it was a re-winner. Yeah. Well, this Dreamer comes in here all dreamy. He wins a race and then he keeps adding his wax address. Come on, gotta share the wealth. Here we go.
We're gonna do it again. Okay.
I'm gonna shuffle the characters though. All right, here we go. Whoa!
Oh, it's the pink one again. What's with the pink one winning on the jump?
You didn't have
Sarov.
Pinks have more fast twitch muscle fiber.
Is that Sarov in the comments?
Sarov is cool.
It might be the
Sarov. Okay, let's see what he won though.
That's exciting.
I hope I like Sarov. I hope he gets a dinger here.
It'd be really cool if he got a rhodium, wouldn't it?
It'd be cool if he got a themed rhodium or the orange hair. Dun 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 dun. All righty. Ooh, thunderstorms rolling in South Florida. All right. Let's see what he got. Ooh, Red Dragon 2.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I think we're gonna. So red dragons are gonna have a lot of staking power in Finney 2.0. So don't sleep on them. Also, we haven't gotten there, but there's always talks about a reward somewhere towards the end of the burn from those who completed the red dragon or are holding all three pieces. So some people might be disappointed because they didn't get a Finney, but red dragon is a great pull in my opinion. And I mean, look at that.
I'm gonna play this back to you.
There's a Finney under. You know, there's a Finney under there.
I'm gonna play that whole conversation back to you at some point in time, and you're gonna, understand why I'm laughing.
Which conversation?
The one that you just had with yourself.
Why don't you just tell me why I'm laughing or why you're laughing?
I can't. There's no possible way I can reconvey what's going on in my mind. But if somebody plays your conversation back with you, then you'll get it.
Congrats, Sarov. Compliments of Trump.
Compliments of Trump.
A Chinese dragon.
Right.
It's fitting.
We'll be back next week.
Yeah, next week, and then maybe one more week, and then we won't be back for a week or something like that. Oh, so those of you out there who didn't see, and we need to repost this, we have a contest going on for we're giving away 10 total Finney coins or 5 for first place. So it's a good contest, and it's an art contest where you just do a Finney. You create a Finney any way you want. Could be a doodle. Could be you could make a paper mache Finney and take a picture of it. Could be a Finney song. It could be a song about Finney. Could be anything. It could be a poem about Finney. But what's the hashtag, man? I'm not really presenting this very well. But basically go look at the Finney Twitter and find the tweet and enter the contest. Even if you're not an artist, we think that'll make it fun as people trying to be artists and doing Finney art. And then in about a week when the contest ends, we're going to have a show. Maybe Jimmy will stop by and help us judge these entries. We'll do it in your daytime, maybe my nighttime, so the Aussies can join the stream. And we're gonna do it's called the Finney Factor, hashtag the Finney Factor, and we're gonna go through all the entries and make fun of them and then pick the winners. And maybe if the winner's tuning in, we'll invite him on the show we do. Adam will be there, Hollywood Taylor. So
yeah, I would love to be a part of that. As long as it's not on a Tuesday, it should be okay.
Yeah, it can be whenever. We'll figure it out. But hey, thanks for tuning in, people.